Corn dog. Done. Corn dog gonna get stunned up. Zarko gonna get feared. He's trying to run down Corn dog, and Keel's gonna pick up that kill. But on the bottom side, Wheela manages to find one, might find a second. The stun onto Cammy, and Yard will pick up that kill.
Out from Frozen's going straight on over the wall with the base. He's trying to find out Sean. Barrier's committed. Rockwell comes down, and they find the kill. Jaclavius is in there and snipping it away. Is now turning his sights on over to and beyond this. So Rocket
Order deletes Paragon from the map, as we will see the Galio fall as well, and they're continuing this chase. Prismal, no fear in the world, but the tower will finish you. But Ari and Dell is there to clean it up for you. Verdict, what is your decision here? And it looks like not a lot, because they have to step away. Start off that way. They should be looking to burn through that pot and stay healthy, as we could very quickly see Wukong fly into that mid lane.
goes in over the wall, not able to steal it, but they get stunned up. Never's crash straight on the Sloppy Joe. He's gonna get for the engage straight on the cap. It's to kill onto Reeve Delvin, so Reeve a 1-for-1 trade off. Tomato Tom carried by Buckles up. Fiora falling. It's a 3-kill massacre, but the health bars tighten, and it's just up to Captain Starfalls.
Finding in engage, it's the knockup onto the backline. Ekron and Riv though still happy and healthy. All fight, not getting enough damage with that Ready Arcane. It's a massive ulti from Singular Brandon. Now Yomi can start to pop off. Goes Godlike on the Kaisa, looking for the autos forward. It's a double kill for Yomi. A nice seismic shot from Necro, but can't get the stun. It is going to be more and more and more for the Monkeys. Monkey see, Monkey do. They're winning game number 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to the fall split of Titan Esports 2024. I hope you can all hear me fine, and I hope you're all excited for a draw show where we will be sharing the 70 plus teams that are participating across our 5 leagues. So for tonight, with all these teams participating in the leagues that we have, I'm Sems, owner of Titan, person running the show behind the scenes and making sure everything's going smooth, but I couldn't do all that without all of my staff members with me as well. So shout out to all of them, and thank you to everybody that's put their blood, sweat, and tears into getting the fall split ready to go. So shout out to them, and shout out to everybody who is actually participating in our fall split. We've had a great year so far, and with a winter split earlier on in the year, a summer split that just recently ended, and now our final one of the year. So I hope you're all excited. So a quick outline of what we're going to do tonight. We're going to go through each of the leagues, starting with Divinity, Eternal, Conqueror, and then Vanquisher and Immortal last. So we're doing from our lowest of the lows with the Emerald 4 and belows to the highest of the league offerings that we have to the Masters players and some GM, you know, maybe a few previous challengers sprinkled in there with our Immortal League. So we'll start that way. For each league, we're going to draw the teams that are participating briefly. I'm going to try to keep it short with every team. It is late, and to be honest, I haven't prepped for a lot of these teams, and with all the people, lovely people that we have behind the scenes helping get everything set up, I haven't been necessarily aware of every single player or team participating, so you know I'm not up to speed, but hopefully I can give you a quick overview of all the people that are playing. And yeah, we're gonna draw each of these teams into groups, and every league schedule is already predetermined. So I'll break it down for some of you once we get into the first team being drawn for Divinity and everything like that. So if there's any issues with my Discord or sound or anything along the way, I'm not actively watching everything. So if anybody could just DM me for issues, and I'll kind of get things started and start going through Divinity first. Like I said, I'll keep it short and sweet. And I believe for the Divinity portion, if I could get everything set up, we do have a special guest who'll be joining us. Let's see. Test, hello. Are you there?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Who do I have joining me on this call?
It's your boy Kills.
Welcome, Kills. How are you doing tonight?
I'm very tired.
I hope you have enough energy to bring us some hype for some of these Divinity teams, and maybe stick around for Eternal as well.
I got you. I got nothing better to do. I could be watching the Bills lose, but
Let me turn you up. I'm saving you from your misery, bringing you onto this show as a special guest for these portions. So you don't have to watch our Buffalo Bills get smacked this week. But hopefully they'll turn it around, right?
hey, Last time the Bills played the Ravens, fun fact, they came back from a 28-point deficit. It's never over.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if I hear you screaming for anything, I'm sure it'll be the Bills coming back, and definitely not anything about the teams or players you're talking about, right?
I might scream about some of these players, you know.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Well, I'm very excited to have you here. Why don't you just give the people a little bit about yourself?
Uh, my name is Kills. I have been around the Titan scene for a good couple of years now. Was running Vanquisher for a while. Now we're just here, kind of taking care of most of the other leagues. I'm a resident plat gamer, so I am horrible at the game. So do not take anything I say seriously.
Sounds good, sounds good. And we don't want to leak anything, but you might be playing, you might be doing some content, you might be, all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
different
yeah, yeah.
places. So,
We'll see what happens, you know.
yeah, yeah. All right, so with Kills here and myself, I think we can get us kicked off with the Divinity League, which is the first league up, our Monday night Emerald 4 capped league. Real quick, I'll switch over to the league itself. So, as a lot of people have already seen, um, we have a 10-team league again, similar to the first and second split of the year. 10 seems to be the lucky number. It's Mondays at 8 p.m. Regular draft. It's going to be a 6-week group stage and then 8-team playoffs with a 350 prize pool. So I'll explain the schedule a little bit real quick. It's your standard for the groups. It's 2 groups of 5. Your standard single round robin for each group, and then for each week there will be one team that plays a cross group match against the opposing respective same team that's drawn at the same time as them in the other group. And those cross group matches do count for standings as well. So you can see over here, for example, the first week, the fifth team that's drawn in Group A will play versus the fifth team that's drawn in Group B. And that's kind of reflective throughout the rest of the weeks as well, except week 4, where week 4 will be a full cross group week for every single team. So a little bit different structure than we did previously. So a lot of people had some negative feedback about the 4 out of 10 teams making playoffs. So with 10 teams only, it makes it a little bit difficult to have a proper structure. So this time around, we're trying something a little bit creative. I believe we did something like this, maybe, what was it, 2022? We can pour one out.
Yeah, it was two seasons. It was 2 full seasons ago.
Yes, pour one out for our Gladiator League, which I believe we did two groups of 5 for that.
Yeah, we did.
So it was interesting. So we'll see how things have changed if people enjoy this better than something like a standard 10-team single round robin. And also, we're short on time because for every single league this split, we're giving everybody a break for the week of Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. And then we want to finish before the week of Christmas starts. So, to prevent some burnout and people just playing League every single week for amateur, we're going to keep this one kind of like short to end the year. And maybe we'll try to sprinkle some events here and there. So, with that being said, I think we can switch on over to my handy dandy little wheel spinner where I'm going to click to spin, and then the first team is going to get drawn into Group A. So let's get started.
While we spin, the Bills did score a touchdown.
Let's go Buffalo. And with Buffalo scoring a touchdown, the first team we have that's drawn is Conduit Esports Revelation. So I'm going to remove Conduit Esports Revelation and go over to their roster. That is Imperium. So a little sneak peek of some of them, but a lot of people have already seen them. Maybe get a little zoom in action on here. So
Well, while you pull that up, I'll start talking about this team. I think
before you do,
Okay.
let's give all the players their shine, read off who's playing here, who's returning, etc. So for Conduit Esports Revelation, conduitesports.org, they had a team that played last split, which was their Phoenix team. A lot of those players are no longer eligible for Divinity, but they've come back. You know, they put together one roster, maybe a second one. I'm sure you guys have already seen them. So two rosters, um, with some Conduit regulars and I think maybe some new people. We'll see when we check out the roster. But for their revelation roster, they have Fenbach in the top lane, Glada in the jungle role, Darison in the mid lane, Domination or Manveer as ADC, and then Illicit Raven as their support. So, Kills, you want to give us a little bit on the Conduit team, the
Yeah,
Revelation
I
team?
I think if we're going into this Divinity season, objectively, we're going to look at these teams. We're going to see two strong Conduit teams, and I think these are the two teams that are the front runners to win the league. And if I had to put my money on anyone, it'd probably be this Revelation team. I think just from top to bottom, they looked the best comparatively to everybody else.
Okay.
Mostly because all 5 of their players actually play the roles that they're supposed to be playing. Shout out to Trash Panda. But I think specifically, if we're going to take like a look at any specific player, it's definitely going to be Domination in the bot lane. Homie should have been yeeted 5 years ago. Probably has the best affiliates I've ever seen, and is going to probably easily make a case for best AD carry, if not like the best player in
Okay.
the entire league this
Okay.
season.
I respect that perspective. So you're saying these are your favorites pretty much, and Domination is just a better ADC than you, and that's it.
Whoa, I don't play AD, I don't play AD
You're
carry anymore. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, wow. Okay. So not sure you're competing with who has Affinity to see what roles you can play the most in amateur.
Well, 2 is different than Finney's 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right. And as you can see, they also have Glada as well, who's a jungler who was played in Emerald before, but
Yep.
took a little bit break because you know he ranked out, but he's a washed up summoner now, so he's allowed back in, and we'll see how he does if he's a better performer than one of their other conduit junglers that is not actually allowed to play here. So we'll see how that works out. But welcome back, and welcome to Conduit Esports Revelation as a first team. Let's go on over and draw the next team up. Next team up is Funny Business Salesman. This is a new org that's started by JK Slap Games, who will be doing some content for everybody in Divinity League as well. So hopefully he'll be dropping something before tomorrow, maybe not, maybe for next week. But for Funny Business Salesman, we have River Rogue in the top lane, JK Slap Games himself in the jungle role, Alphaite E in the mid lane, Paradoxic in the ADC role, and then Corey of the Rose in the support role with subs Baba Jam and Effervescence. Kills, thoughts on this team?
I think the 2 players I actually know are going to be JK and Alf themselves. Alf's a very strong mid laner, known for kind of an aggressive play style. I think that's kind of going to be like their centerpiece of this team, to just kind of see how well can they play on Alf. I don't know too much about the other players in this team. I don't think anyone's ever seen them before. TG Paradoxic actually sounds kind of familiar, but the other ones I've never heard of. So I think it's really just going to be how well can the jungle mid have their synergy.
Yeah, kind of agree. It's hard to rate players who are newer, but across solo queue wise, their starters seem pretty solid. So we'll see how they round out, and if I believe, I'm not sure. I think they might still be doing roster tryouts as well for their jungle role if JK is not playing. So we'll see how that goes. So welcome to Funny Business Salesman. They'll be going into B1. And then let's go on over to the third team, which will be going into A2. And that team is Sun Lero. Lero? Kills, I'll just let you take this one away since this is, you know, your own team.
Yeah, so Sun
Surprise,
Lero.
surprise.
We got Notorious TLP in the top lane, Thousand Puzzles in the jungle, Kills myself in the mid lane, Jobo 80 carry, Dory K at support. I think currently we are playing in BOL. Our results have not been great. I will say this team was formed about 45 minutes before BOL started. So I think we're currently ramping up. Our scrims go a lot better than our stage games have, so I think it all kind of depends on how well can we get back out on the Rift. I think week 1 though we might shock some people, and make these games a little interesting for you.
Okay, okay. Will we be seeing any of your subs playing possibly? You have some
I cannot leak that.
regulars, no leaks.
I cannot leak that information.
Hey man, come on, you gotta let people know if you know somebody's playing tomorrow. You gotta give them 24 hours notice. You're already late, bro.
That's just not true.
All right, well, welcome to Sun and Divinity. I don't think maybe the last time they played in Divinity was like 2 years ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, but welcome back. They'll be going into Group A as the second team. So let's go on over to the fourth team. Try to keep this moving along. Also, time-wise, I think this is pretty friendly to the West Coasters who are always left out. So you're welcome to the West Coasters. The fourth team is Iridescent Dawn Toxin. And I believe Iridescent Dawn, as a lot of you in some of the, Conquer and Emerald Diamond scene are familiar with these teams, they have not played in Divinity, and I don't know if they actually ever had a team in Emerald 4 Cap, but I want to say they're making their debut. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, with a team that is coached and ran by Joby and Shane, who are Emerald Diamond regulars now. You guys have seen them in Titan as well. Maybe Shane not as much, but Joby definitely last
I
split.
think Joby plays on a
Vancouver
Masters team.
Yeah, he's on a Diamond team.
Okay.
I believe they were in the finals last split. But for Iridescent Dawn Toxin, their Divinity team, we have Lawrence in the top lane. Shout out to Lawrence for running a lot of TFT stuff over ages. We have Matt in the jungle role, Wooly Bully in the mid lane, Ligor in the ADC role, Poodle in the support role, and then Cheshire Cat in this as a sub. Kills, any thoughts on ID Toxin?
Yeah, I only have ever heard of 2 of these players. Lawrence I've heard of as being a top laner, obviously from the TFT stuff, but did win a couple of chips all the way back towards the start of like the early days of like Aegis, and BOL was a chip winner in the early days. I think on Tempest it was. Wooly Bully is also someone that's coming up from the IBS scene, the IBSG scene now into Plat for the first time, I believe.
Okay.
Will be making his debut, looks like mid lane. Was, I think, a support player at first. Kind of swapped around some roles, and I think has found a home in the mid lane. So I think top lane is probably going to be the role I'm going to be looking at the most for this team. But any of these players that I've never heard of could shock me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not very familiar, but I think some, like you said, some of them are moving up. So we'll see how ID Toxin does and if they can replicate some of the success that their higher elo teams have had, right? So ID Toxin will be going into B2. And let's spin the next team. Next team up will be TPO, Troll Picks Only Walking Words. That's a long name, so we're shortening it down to just the TPO Walking Words. This is a returning org. The Troll Picks Only has been participating for multiple splits now. And this time around, they have a nice little logo where a ward is actually walking, showing a little bit too much legs there maybe, but for them, they have Ziggy in the top lane, Lightly Moist Sock, which is Jim Halper in the jungle role, Bixus in the mid lane, Weo Good and ADC, and Pot of Greed as support with Dummy and Revon CC3025 as a sub. Kill's thoughts on the TPO team?
I mean, I think if we're looking at the team objectively, they're probably going to land as probably one of the worst teams in the league. But then again, last season we said the same thing, and I think they came out of the gates looking pretty strong. So I really don't know what to expect, but if I had to like objectively rate them, I'd probably place them towards the bottom of my tier lists.
Oh, okay. Okay, bottom of the tier list, okay.
Hey, you never know. Bixus could come out and do some crazy things.
True. They didn't have the best performance last split, but they were entertaining. So
yeah, I think they won, but they came out of the gates. I think they won their first week or two.
They
and like some shocking upsets. So, they probably ended poorly, but you never know. They could come out of the gate looking strong.
I agree. I expect them to do the same thing. I mean, last Divinity split was kind of crazy to get things started off, and there was a lot of upsets of teams winning that people didn't expect. So, I think at this elo specifically, that's common and it can happen again. So I'm interested to see if, TPO can pull off some upsets, maybe come out as the favorites, shock some people. We'll see. So, welcome back to TPO. Let's draw the next team. And that team is Cerberus, which is a non-org affiliated team ran by the one and only two-time Divinity champion, Outrage. So for Outrage's Cerberus team, name org affiliation might be changing soon, TBD. But they have Ultimice in the top lane, Flowers in the jungle, Frost mid lane, Gabriel Leo as an ADC, Barolo as support, and very talented as a sub. Kills, thoughts on the Cerberus team?
Yeah, so the big two people I'm gonna be looking at is full bot lane. Gabriel Leo and Barolo. I've played with both of those players before. Gabe, I think, actually has probably the absolute best voice and like shot calling of any platinum player I've ever
Mm-hmm.
played with. He is the most vocal and like can just absolutely take charge and lead a team if probably from any position. Usually on top lane, which is known as like the most quiet role in the game. So put him at the 80 carry position, give him the chance to actually run the game. I think Barolo, if they can actually mesh well together, will put him in a good position to do that. Barolo's a very strong laner and can do that. I'm a little worried to see how a Silver One mid laner is going to hold up. I did look at their OP.GG. You never know. The Silver One mid laner could turn out to be a, you know, Emerald 4 player, but we'll see. Uh, I don't know what to expect from this team, but I think if anything is going to happen, Gabe, Leo, and Barolo is going to put them in the position to win.
Yeah, I think you've played with Barolo yourself, and you've seen Gabe as well. So their bot lane is looking pretty strong off the jump. So I fully expect them to be one of the, top tier bot lanes in Divinity and see how the rest of the players round out and be able to support them. So welcome to Cerberus. They'll be going into B3, so Group B. And let's just jump into the roll next team. More than halfway through. I think I started this at 9:45, so we're 15 plus 25, that's 40. Quick maths for you guys. 40 minutes in. And the next team drawn is Conduit Esports Imperium. This is the sister team for Conduit, and because Conduit Esports Revelation is in Group A, that means Conduit Esports Imperium will just go to Group B. So no sister teams in the same group. We're going to be moving them to Group B. And let's go check out the second Conduit Esports roster. We have Wheeze in the top lane, Trash Panda in the jungle, Socks the Thighs in the mid lane, Bam as ADC, and Brigade as a support, with No Name as a sub. Kills, thoughts on Imperium?
The only player on this team I don't know is their support. I've never heard of them, but I am a very big fan of everybody on this team. Weeze, I've been super high on for the last couple months. I think he's extremely underrated in the top lane. Socks is very, very good. I think the biggest question mark is going to be how well can Trash Panda transition into the jungle from the 80 carry lane. If that transition can go smooth, I think this team could contend for the top 2 spot.
I agree, they're looking pretty strong, have a lot of regulars at this level, and probably some championship caliber players who have won as well. Um, and we'll see how they stack up to their sister team and the rest of the teams, definitely. So welcome to the secondary Conduit Esports team, not secondary, but second drawn team. And then let's spin for the next team. This team will be going in A4, and that team will be Hydro Pump Blacktip. This is an org that I've seen recently just started up, but they've been having a couple of teams in various leagues, so I'm glad to see them here as well. Um, let's check out who Hydro Pump has on their roster. I'm a big fan of their logo, pretty cool. Um, Hydro Pump Blacktip. has Ish in the top lane, Red Sharky in the jungle role, I am Bubble in the mid lane, Blue Karma as ADC, Alejandro as support, and Kryptonic Killer in the sub as a sub. Kills, any knowledge here on the Hydro Pump team?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never heard of any of them. Hydro Pump is an org. They kind of came out of nowhere. They've got 3 teams randomly in BOL. I've never heard of them until literally this split. I don't even know where they came from. But they just keep popping up, and I guess it's a good thing. Keep the scene going strong. But I've never heard of any of these players, so I don't have too much of a say about them. They could be really good. They could be bad. They're probably middle of the pack though.
Middle of the pack. Okay, okay. I know I've seen their team contact Sharky around, but I think this is the majority of their first time in Titan. So welcome to Titan, Hydro Pump. Excited to see what you guys are able to do. Make a name for yourselves here, you know. So Hydro Pump, as I said, will be going to Group A. And then the next team will also be going to Group A. And that will be TFF Aftershock. TFF Aftershock, this is a returning team, and I believe they were undefeated last split. But this time around, they have some returning players, some new players as well. So in the top lane, Coach Silent K, Sweeble as a jungle, IQ of a Coconut as a mid laner, Chrome Malone as ADC, and Fallen Warrior as support, with Bacon Shake, Efron, Lucky Charms as their three subs. So this team, I'm pretty sure it is literally the exact same roster that went undefeated except Sweeble and ADC, right? Jungle and ADC are different. I know jungle is because they're jungler ranked out, but I believe Chrome Malone is also different as well. Kills, TFF Aftershock, thoughts?
Yeah, so this team they actually performed very well last split. Um, I think they're about most of their team is coming back together. I think overall they could probably contend for a good playoff spot, especially since they're sticking together from last season. Crumble played extremely well last night or last season. IQ of the Coconut was a top like 3 or 4 mid laner, I believe. So I think they're going to end up being very strong.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of returning players, consistency is key, you know. Um, so welcome back to TFF Aftershock. I agree. They should be one of the favorites here. And let me just make sure they should be in Group A. That is correct. And then the last team, last but not least, is Illusion. Illusion is also a new org to Titan, so welcome to them. Let's check out their roster. Nice little logo with the headphones, you know, showing you some Illusion there. They have Neptune Rises in the top lane. Uh, RTG, War Crazy, or Niaz in the jungle role. Rabbit in the mid lane. JC as ADC. Dolph Natic as their support with subs Decoy and Chezzy G. Some of their lineup might be changing, as I saw, but for now, this is what we have. I believe this is correct, and we'll give opinions on this roster. Kills,
Yeah, I think this is the only other team I don't know too much about.
Illusion.
Um, yeah, I don't know too much about them. I've heard of a couple of their players before. I've played against this ADK JC before. I believe one of the owners of Misery. Uh, they're a solid player. They play pretty much most of the regular AD carries. Neptune Rises, I believe, is a player coming up from the IBS scene recently. Has kind of made a climb from silver to decently high plat. They could contend well, but I think they might struggle against some of these like better top laners like Fenbach or Weeze. So I want to see how this team plays. I think they're probably gonna end up middle of the pack like the other teams, but you never know. They could make a run for it.
True, true, true. Welcome to Illusion. We'll see how they compete with some of the other teams here in our Divinity League. So let's head on over to the standing sheet, or to see check out their groups. So for Group A, we have Conduit Revelation, Sun, Laro, TPO Walking Words, Hydropump Blacktip, and TFF Aftershock. Group B, we have Funny Business Salesman, ID Toxin, Cerberus, Conduit Imperium, and Illusion. So as I mentioned earlier, single round robin, one cross group match each week, and then a cross group week in week 4, with top 4 from each group making playoffs. So it's going to be an 18 playoff. You know, with a shorter regular season, we want to allow more teams to be able to make it into playoffs and have a chance of winning that 1 week to continue going on to the next round. So welcome to all the teams. Kills, I'll take your final thoughts on each group, and then we kind of wrap it up and send it over to Eternal. So for Group A, I'll say who are your favorites, and then who do you think is going to do the worst?
All right. You heard it here first, folks. Sun Lero winning the whole group. I think you have to like put Conduit at number 1 in this group. I think you're lying to yourselves if you don't think that's the case. I think my team could probably make a run for it. It's not going to be easy for us. Like especially if you look at our record in BOL, we haven't really won anything. I think with some of the things that is coming down the pipeline, we could make something work. But um, it's probably going to be between us and TFF Aftershock for the top 2 spot. And then after that, I really don't know. It's just going to be a coin toss.
Okay, so coin toss between TPO and Hydro Pump for that 4th spot.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can kind of agree with some of those opinions. I think you should probably just stick with, as Sun, just like taking it all. Don't back off against that opinion. Just you're gonna be finished first. Don't back down against the big bad wolf of Conduit and TFF kills.
Oh, absolutely not. We take it all.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Let's go on over Group B. Same thing. Who do you see at the top, and then who do you see at the bottom?
Yeah, this is definitely the harder group, if I'm being honest with you. Um, I think it's probably going to be Conduit, Imperium, and Cerberus at the top 2 spots. And then ID and Funny Business could also just be like fighting for this top, or even Illusion. All 3 of them could potentially make playoffs if for that 2, 3, and 4 spot. I think whoever doesn't make it is just going to be a barely missing it. I think you're going to see the drop off between overall like records between Group A and Group B be pretty drastic.
Okay. I can see that happening. I think just looking at it real quick by names and just expectations, Group B is probably more of a toss-up, like you're saying, for some of the playoff spots and everything. Uh, but it should also be not more competitive in terms of how strong teams are, but just more competitive in terms of record-wise, like how teams end up. Whereas like Group A, maybe somebody goes 4-0, what is it, 5-0 technically? Or 6-0 because there's 6 weeks, yeah, with the cross group.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But thanks, Skills. Those are our groups for Divinity and all of the teams that are participating. So for the schedule, my handy dandy staff team behind the scenes has already actually filled it out, replaced the default numbers, letters with your actual team names. So you can see here your week 1 matches. We have Condo Esports Revelation. We have Sunlero. That's a banger match, Kills. Week 1,
Yes, sir.
playing one of the really good teams. And then we have TPO versus Hydro Pump, TFF versus Illusion, Funny Business versus ID Toxin, and then Cerberus versus Conduit. Unfortunately, I can't stream our defending champions for week 1. So that's unfortunate. So now
Because they aren't there.
they're not there. They decided they said
Well, I was on the defending. I'm on that roster.
they
So.
said we won back to back, so we're
I think I'm the only
throwing
person in
the
that on
towel.
that roster that's playing, so you should put stream me.
You know what? I don't have edit permissions because I'm logged into the Titan. But we're gonna lock it in. Our week 1 stream match will be Condo Esports Revelation versus Sanlero. So banger tomorrow, first stream of the week. I hope you can all tune in to see Kills get his butt whooped and take back all the bad stuff he said about all the teams here. So tune in tomorrow to see Conduit versus Sun, and then keep an eye out for all the upcoming content from some of the people contributing, and then all the matches as well. hope everybody has a wonderful Divinity split, very competitive, and hope you all have a good time. So with that being said, I believe Kills, I'll take any final words from you on Divinity. And
Uh,
if I missed anything, you can remind me.
no, just y'all are gonna get your pockets ran. Thank you for your donation. That's all.
Awesome. Thanks, Kills, for stepping in for Divinity. I think we can take a quick break, like very short, and then we can switch over to Eternal, which is our Monday night Diamond 4 Cap League. So be right back in a couple of minutes, and we'll be back with Eternal. Thanks, everybody. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here for our Eternal League, which is our Diamond 4 Cap League on Monday nights. This league does not have weekly streams, so that's the only difference between this one and our Conqueror League on Wednesday nights. It is Diamond 4 capped. Oh, the other difference actually this time around for Eternal, our second split running Eternal actually, and first split was pretty successful, I'd say. So this time around, we're introducing a Fearless Draft for Eternal specifically, to kind of explore what some of the higher leagues and pro scene is doing a little bit, or I'd say tier 2 scene with NACL, if some of you have watched. So this is going to be Fearless Draft. It is explained in the rulebook. Basically, any champion that is drafted, played in each game is for both teams is unable to be played the subsequent games. Once we get to game 4 in playoffs, teams only have 3 bans, and both teams have 3 bans for game 4 in a best of 5. And then for game 5, there are no bans. So every champion is on the board.
Except for the ones that have been played.
Exactly. So as I'm still joined with Gills, who has done Eternal content for the past split. So he'll be coming back this split and cooking up some nice stuff for you guys. So hopefully you all enjoy that. And for Eternal, we have 12 teams. It is going to be a 6-week group stage with 18 playoffs and a 630 prize pool. So real quick for the standings, like I said, 2 groups of 6. For the schedule, it is pretty much single round robin. So every team plays everybody once. And then there is also 1 week of full cross groups. And similar to Divinity, for those that were following, you pretty much play the team in another group that gets drawn at the same time as you. So it's A1 versus B1, A2 versus B2, A3, B3, etc. You get the idea. So just 1 cross group week, and that does count for standings. Last split, we did not count cross groups for standings, and people didn't really enjoy it. Kind of a waste of a week sometimes. So this time we'll see how it works out, and if there are any concerns about strength of actual opponents for cross group matches affecting your standings. But 4 out of 6 teams from each group make playoffs, 18 playoffs. So that'll be exciting, similar to last split. And yeah, that's pretty much our Eternal League. And let's switch on over to drawing the first team that will be going into Group A. And that team will be Tilt Esports World Enders. So Tilt Esports, I believe, is a newer org that spun off from a couple of former players, not former, regular players that have been playing around in amateur for a bit and been leading, running, managing other teams for different orgs. So if we switch on over to the rosters, we can check out the Tilt Esports World Enders team, led by KTL, with Weatherneck in the top lane, Chris in the jungle role, Zed in the mid lane, KTL himself as ADC, and Kakalin as the support, with Albino Sunbear, Gumi, and we'll show them all as subs. And then Bailey as well, but we don't have an OPG for that person, so we'll look into fixing that. Kills, opinions on the Tilt Esports World Enders team.
Yeah, so I actually just did my power rankings for this league earlier today. Made the graphics. That's coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
And I put this team as number 1. I think they are the strongest team in the league.
Number 1?
Yeah, I think this team's going to win the league. I think that Chris and KTL are 2 insanely good players. Especially Chris. I've seen him play in BOL Emeralds and some other leagues around. I don't know too much about the rest of their team, but just on paper, I think they have the strongest roster comparatively. This version of Eternal has been kind of a step down from last season in terms of overall skill, just based on players getting ranked out and being pushed up to the other leagues. So I'm excited to see how some of them play, some of the other teams do. But this could be the strongest team.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think they have some very strong players. So we'll see if they're able to replicate some of their success at other and elsewhere in our Eternal League, and how they're able to roll through the Fearless Draft as well. So welcome to Tilt Esports. They'll be the first team in Group A, and we'll go ahead and roll over for the next team. I'm gonna give less opinions on Eternal kills, so you can just go ahead and talk about them, and you'll be doing the content anyway, so you're more familiar with these people. And with that being said, we have a returning team, Omega Fever, to our Eternal League. So a lot of people in Eternal will probably be familiar with this team and roster as well, because they are returning. If I can actually find them on the sheet. So for Fever, we have Stubby, Sailor, Stubby in top lane, Sailor jungle, Kiba Boy mid lane, Evil Zara in as an ADC, Naysayer as support with subs Maze and Metal. So, Kills, thoughts on the Omega Fever team?
Yeah, I think all of this team is returning except for I believe they have a different mid laner now. They took who the old Dorado mid laner was and put that mid lane. But I think this team is just going to be a top team purely because of last season results, plus the fact that most of them are staying together. They all strong players, but as we all know that teams that have stuck together just naturally going to do better together no matter what. So I'm expecting them to probably be like a top 3, top 4 team. I think I
Okay.
had them third on my tier list at first. But so I think they're gonna be really good.
Yeah, I believe they had a solid performance last split. I can't remember how far they
They
went,
made
but
it to semis.
okay, semis. Got it, got it. So hopefully, I'm sure they're expecting to follow up and make a deeper run this time around. So welcome back to Omega Fever. They'll be the first team in Group B. I don't need to switch that every single time. So let's spin the next team. Hey, it's one of our very own. We have Clown Gaming Fiesta, which is also another returning team that played last play in Eternal. So for Clown Gaming Fiesta, we have Punky Russ in the top lane, Discrepancy jungle, Mockingbird in mid lane, Maddie as ADC, and Gunny Thick as support with 5 different subs. Not gonna name all of them, but they have a deep bench. So welcome back to Clown Gaming Fiesta. Kill's thoughts on this team?
You want to hear something funny? I don't. They played in this league last season, and no offense to them, I don't know much about them because I feel like they weren't like really involved. They were having a lot of roster changes throughout the season. I know Discrepancy, and I believe their top laner, a couple of them are returning, but they were like the more stable parts of the team. I believe they made a small playoff run, but I'm hoping this season they can have a more stable roster and come into the season a lot stronger than they did last year. Um, because I think that's really kind of what helped them back. Like the first 3 weeks, they had like 4 roster changes.
Yep.
So hopefully they can have a stronger start to split. But I think they're going to be a solid team.
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, it's their top jungle and support that are returning, and this time around, I believe they're gonna be much more consistent than last split, where it was a little bit of a rush to start into the league as well. But they made playoffs, so shout out to them. They've been doing great under the Clown org. They love gaming, they've been scrimming all the time, practicing, etc. And I believe the mid and ADC they found are round out the team very well. So we'll see how if they're able to follow up on their quarterfinals exit and make it to the second round this time around. Maybe I'll have to do some rigging behind the scenes to make that happen. So let's spin the fourth team for Eternal. So the next team up is Subatomic Gaming Chameleon. This is one of the 2 teams from Subatomic Gaming that is participating in Eternal. So Subatomic Gaming Chameleon has Gion in the top lane, uh, Raphael in the jungle role, Thunder McBuster mid lane, Resilient ADC, and Cheong in as a support. Kill's thoughts on the Chameleon version of Subatomic Gaming?
I think this team is going to be pretty strong. This top laner is absolutely insane. I've seen him play. Again, this is in Plat Leagues, so he might be a different level of player in Emerald, but I think he absolutely gapped every single player I've ever seen him play against.
Okay.
I think Thunder is a really solid mid laner. Resilient and Chong should be a solid bot laner. I think the big question mark for me is going to be this jungler. I don't know too much about them, but it could easily just be a top player in the league. I think their parts are all strong. It all depends on um, how well they make whole, I guess.
Yeah,
SG teams often have strong parts, but I want to see an SG team have a strong whole together.
yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Strong individuals, but we'll see how they are able to perform as a team together. So welcome back to Subatomic Gaming. I believe they participated in our Conquer League and now making a shift over to Eternal with 2 teams. So we'll see how they do. They'll be the second team in Group B. That's correct. And we'll spin with the next team. The next team up is Bloom Gaming Moonflower. So this team, Bloom Gaming has been around for a bit, I think, and they're making their appearance in Eternal. One of the teams that joined at the buzzer, I'd say. So Bloom Gaming Moonflower has some regulars to tie in with nobody playing top lane, but they have Guster Posey in the jungle, Jacob in the mid lane, BLG Sur as ADC, Aerocross in the support role, Cloudbreed, their team contact, org owner of Bloom as a sub, and Wee Wizard as a sub as well. Kill's thoughts on the Bloom Gaming team?
I think the big person we gotta watch out for is this top laner. Like whether or not he could show up to team fights is really going to be a big thing. Uh, all jokes aside, I think Guster and Arrow have kind of been a staple in the comp scene for a while. Um, I think that they can pretty much solo get a team into a successful position. So I want to see if they're able to kind of carry their success in the lower divisions into an Emerald League, into a Fearless League, which is the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a Diamond 3 mid laner, so if they could play around those, or sorry, 80 carry. I was reading the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do a Diamond 3 80 carry. So if they can carry around their strong suits, find a top laner that suits their play style, I think it's going to be a strong team.
Agreed, agreed. We'll see how their top lane or who they're able to find to actually round out the team that they have. So expecting big things out of them. So Bloom Gaming Moonflower will be going into Group A as the third team. So let's go on to the next team. And that will be Subatomic Gaming Dark Matter. And same thing, no sister teams in the same group. So Subatomic Gaming Dark Matter will actually go to Group A as A4. Let's check out who they have on the roster. For the Dark Matter team, they have Instrument in the top lane, Cat Thrall as the jungle, Nugget Toasted in the mid lane, Neglect as ADC, and Definite Lesbian as a support. So, Kill's thoughts on this version of Subatomic Gaming?
Yeah, this version of Summertonic is a team I'm a little less familiar with. Cathral has been someone that's been playing in some of these Emerald Leagues for a little bit of time now. Has had some decent results. I believe is one of the better junglers in the league. And Neglect, I know, was a top laner who is now transitioning over to the AD carry role. I'm kind of excited to see what that transition is going to look like, if they can be successful in that. But I think that's kind of what the team is about. I don't think this is going to be one of the more successful teams in the league. I think they're going to take a back seat to the sister team. But we'll see how the team plays out. But I'm not expecting too much out of them.
Okay, okay. We'll see if they can prove you wrong. Let's move on to the next team after Subatomic Gaming Dark Matter, which will be Next Level Esports, NLE. Let's head on over to NLE. Next Level Esports has Fairlax in the top lane, Rifle as jungle, Slayer as mid lane, Slayer Smoke as ADC, and then Property as supports. Oh, is Star Burrito and Super Chase as subs. I believe they made some couple of roster changes that I didn't really catch. So this might not be fully correct. But Kill's thoughts on this team?
Yeah, this is one of the ones I would probably know the least about. I think most of these players are new to the Titan scene. One or two of them might have played before, but none of them played in Eternal Last Blood, I believe. So I'm not really sure too much to expect. But at least looking at the some of their parts, they all seem like solid players. If they can all be cohesive together, I think they can make a good run for it. But this is another one of those teams where I'm not expecting too much, just because I don't know what to expect out of them.
Yeah, I agree, and I believe I was correct. They made some roster adjustments pending Titan approval, not Riot approval. They're gonna have Arashi playing top lane, and then Toxic Life as their supports with sub Archivios. So a couple of roster changes. Personal experience, roster changes at the last minute don't usually work out. So we'll see if they're able to work out for next level esports. So welcome to NLE. I know they had a team in NACL Open qualifiers previously, so I believe this is their first time that I'm seeing them at the Emerald level. So welcome back. Welcome to Titan to NLE. Next team will also be going into Group B as well. So let's spin the next team up, which will be the Shattered Spire, are returning undefeated Group B team from Eternal, making their way back to our Eternal League. The Shattered Spire, who went undefeated last split, but they did not have the same success in playoffs, is returning with the majority of the same players, I believe, with Synthwave in the top lane, Wichita Black Mass in jungle, Arrows mid lane, Boostus ADC, Wanderer Chime as support, and Starry and Fire as sub. Kill's thoughts on the Shattered Spire?
All right. Well, first off, they did not go undefeated last season, but anyone who was here for Eternal last season knows how much I love to talk about Shattered Spire, and not in a good way. I'm gonna be nice on the cast. I think this team is going to be a competitive team in the regular season against some of the worst teams. I am excited to see how they face up against some of the playoff teams. I don't have a whole lot of faith, but I am excited to see them play. I am happy they are playing again in this split.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have some good players on their roster, and you're right. They didn't go undefeated. They went 4-1, so or at least 4-1 in non-cross group matches. I don't know why I thought they went undefeated because they dropped the last week to Iceborne Inferno, who was eliminated from playoffs already. I remember that. Maybe that tilted them into a bad playoff performance. But hopefully they're able to come out strong in this play again and make a better playoff showing than last time around. So let me just
They will be
confirm.
they will love my content this year, I promise.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So next team up is Dorado Gaming Sigma. So this is another team returning to Eternal. We must be doing something right if at least half the league is coming back, right? Specifically for our no-streamed version of the Diamond 4 Cap League. So with Dorado Gaming Sigma, we have Oprah Winfrey in the top lane, Efron in the jungle.
This is not the roster.
and Deuce playing mid, Prey X as support as ADC, and Sunrise as support with Julius Boozler and as a sub. Kills, any thoughts on the Sigma team?
Okay. So I also left when I saw Efron jungle. Efron is not playing jungle. I have heard it here from the sources first. He will not be playing jungle. I don't know who the jungler is. Um, I know all of these players. I have a lot of faith in all these players. I think Oprah is a fantastic player. That is the infamous come in at game 3 and win the finals Oprah Winfrey. Induced, I think, is a extremely strong mid laner. I think probably should be a top 3 mid laner in the league. Went to finals last season with Paperboat Gaming. Prey, absolutely insane AD carry. And Sunrise is Sunrise. So we'll see. We'll see how this team's going to go. They should be competitive. I don't know how much time they've gotten in together. My sources have said that they have not had too much time practicing with each other, but they could definitely contend for a top spot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how they round out their team. But glad to see some of the people that are ineligible for Divinity moving up and trying to play in our Diamond 4 Cap League. So welcome to Sunrise specifically. And we'll see how Sigma does and if they're able to perform better than the last version of Sigma in our Eternal split. So Sigma should be going as the 5th team in Group A, which is that's where they are. So we'll remove them and we'll spin for the next team. And that next team is Thanoswell Hammerheads. Well, let's check out Thanoswell. Where they at? 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 Oh, they're right there. They're right there. Okay, Thanoswell Hammerheads. Dope logo, by the way. They have Chakravarti in the top lane. 1-800 Spare the Hose in the jungle role. Chinese Spy in the mid lane, which may be a roster change.
Yeah, I
Peekaboo
think
as
so.
the ADC, and then Tim Somnia, their team captain contact, is the support. Kill's thoughts on the Hammerheads?
I I don't know what to think just because I know they are making some roster swaps. Um, the player I would have talked about would have been Chinese Spy, but I do believe that Chinese Spy will not be a starter on this team. So I would say most of my thoughts on the team is going to have to be saved until after week 1, until after I can see some of their play. Just because the roster seems a little uncertain right now.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, I know it's really bad insight on a draw show,
No,
but
you're good. You're good. I think I've seen like Peekaboo play before, and like you said, Chinese Spy, and I believe Chakravarti. Was that the support for Conduit, or I'm confusing him with somebody else?
no, that's not him.
Okay. But yeah, I'm familiar with a lot of the players, so we'll see what they're able to show us in Eternal and how they're able to round out their roster if they're making changes. So welcome to Stanoswell, to Titan, and they'll be the 5th team in Group B. It's like magic. I just hovered over there and it appeared. I didn't even have to do anything. Shout out to our lovely staff team behind the scenes.
Yeah, we have crazy production right now.
My production crazy, bro. Come on, I'm killing it out here. So the next team up is Travelers Bottom Feeders. So real quick for this team, um, I got a DM earlier that I was not able to respond to because it wasn't a
Okay,
message
inside
request.
sources.
Inside sources. But this team, if I can just like wave my magic little wand and just go like, just um what's the thing? If I just like snap like Thanos, they're just gonna like disappear,
Oh,
because this team actually dropped, so they won't be participating. So we won't spend too much time talking about them, but stuff happens, so they can't
it's
play.
okay. I
But
had them last in my fire rates anyways.
I'm sure they would have done fine. But stuff happens, they can't play. So that being said, if you are looking to play in a Diamond 4 Cap League, you have an eligible team, maybe not an eligible team, you have some friends you want to play with, um, open a staff help ticket. Let me know what your roster is because we have an open spot, which will be in A6, the 6th team in Group A. So if you want to compete against some of these other teams here, you think you're better than them, you can knock them off the playoff race. You want to participate, you try out Fearless Draft, um, enjoy some lovely content by Kills. Um, get your app in, put together a roster of free agents, do whatever you want. I might even consider, offering a little bit discount on the entry fee. So just let me know.
Whoa! You gonna give away
Spots,
some of that vacation fund?
maybe some of my vacation funds. I might have to do it. I don't want teams having a bye week. So those are never fun, especially if you're the only team that's not playing that week. So yeah, open spot in Eternal. And with that being said, we're gonna draw the final team, which is Conduit Esports Phoenix. Hooray! Conduit Esports Phoenix. Let's go to the rosters over here. Check them out. A lot of people in our Plat League and scene will be very familiar with this roster as they won multiple championships in other leagues, but unfortunately they couldn't win one in Divinity. However, their team contact here, Nation, is surrounding himself with some superstar players, and with Sizzy in the top lane, Nation himself in the jungle role, OTF mid lane, Yellow Swag as ADC, D-Shot in the support role, with Sung. Oh, that's Tash. Stash is sub, May as sub, Not So Dark as sub, and Chai as subs. Surprisingly, on here you can see they have 3 people or 4 people that were made ineligible for Divinity playing, being subs, with Nation himself as starting. So I'm glad to see a lot of the Phoenix players moving up, and improving. So kills, I know I yapped a lot, but thoughts on the Conduit Esports Phoenix roster?
Yeah, so this is actually Yeet Esports Phoenix roster. Yes, most of these players have been yeeted from Divinity. I am very thankful that they are doing what you are supposed to do and just playing in the league above them. Um, and just like giving it a shot. Like, you know, it might not work out, it might, but I think the sum of their parts are really good. CZI is a finals player. Wait, no, sorry, wrong player. Not a finals player. Um, sorry, Nation OTF is a combo that have played together for some time now. Yellow Swag did have some success in some of the Emerald Leagues before as well. I think played on the Clown for a couple weeks last season, um, as well. So I'm excited for this team. Knowing all of them, I want them to succeed. I think they probably shouldn't their first couple of weeks. I think the skill difference might be a little shocking to them, but they could shock me, and they could end up being a top team. But I would plan on them being in the middle of the pack.
Okay. Yeah, I mean some of these players they've been playing for in Emerald for a couple of splits now. So they should be very familiar with the competition level, with Nasia just moving up. So I think they should do fine. Unfortunately, I don't think Nation is here to actually defend himself and his team as he was supposed to join. Shout out to Nation for being our first Discord server subscriber to
Oh,
Titan
true.
Plus. He was supposed to get his 1 minute of fame. Maybe I'll bring him in later to say whatever he wants to say. Um, but yeah, if you
I
wanna,
already know what he wants to say.
you already know what he wants to say.
Yeah, he's gonna want you to give him the day off.
He's gonna what?
He's gonna ask you for the week off for the holiday.
Oh yeah. We're not discussing that on stream. But yeah, if anybody else wants 1 minute of fame, just go to Titan to our Discord server and join Titan Plus, where you get benefits like your own custom voice channel, giveaways, exclusive text channel, and undying love from everybody behind the scenes at Titan Esports. So check that out. Support us. All of the money goes back into the league itself and making Titan the best amateur league out there. So yeah, shout out Asian being the first one. Hopefully you're able to join us later on. But welcome to Condo Esports Phoenix in the D4 Cap League. So they'll be the last team in Group B. And with that being said, that's all the teams in Eternal. Um, let's round them out real quick and get Kill's final thoughts before we move on to Conqueror. So for Group A, we have, you guys can see them on the screen. I'm not going to read them off. Kills. Group A. Best team, worst team, playoffs, no playoffs.
I would say that the best team is the open for team. They're gonna win the entire league. Um, but like I said, I still feel strong about Tilt Esports. I think Dorado still has a chance to do well. They could also just be a sixth place team. Who knows? Um, but Group A, I think for the most part, it's gonna be pretty open. I think the top spot's pretty much locked in, but anyone else can really just take that.
Okay. And then, yeah, open team, whoever joins is definitely going to make playoffs and probably win the championship. Miracle run, right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
So get your team signed up and you can play tomorrow against, we'll see who the schedule shows you against in a second, but same thoughts for Group B kills.
Yeah, I think Omega is probably going to be one of the better teams. I think that subatomic team is going to be well. Conduit is probably going to make playoffs as well. Shadow Spire, gonna somehow fraudulently make their way into playoffs. Uh, and then probably the last two teams are just gonna slightly barely miss. I think this is the more competitive group. Somehow Divinity and Eternal had Group Bs that are pretty scary, but um, this is definitely going to be the group to watch.
Awesome. Those are some wonderful thoughts on the eternal groups that we have drawn here. And we can take a look at the schedule real quick. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before we do that, I have a potential team that may be taking the spot for the last team. I'm not gonna leak them, but let's just say I just received the ticket and I just received the paying. So, hey, like I said, it's a free group, free championship, and if this team takes it, you know, they might just actually be going for that championship. Stay tuned, and I'll update that within 24 hours. So for the
So
schedule,
yeah, games tomorrow. So
Tilt Esports, you do not have a buy yet. Just give me uh like a couple hours before the end of the night before actually scheduling a scrim or something. So just stay tuned. Please be patient. I appreciate everybody's patience. But for week one, we have Bloom Gaming and Moonflower versus Sigma, Dorado Gaming Sigma. Tilt Esports versus the Open Team. SG Dark Matter versus Clown Gaming Fiesta. And then Group B, NLE versus Thanos Wall Hammerheads, Next Level Esports. Condo Esports Phoenix versus Omega Fever. And the Shattered Spire versus Subatomic Gaming Chameleon. So some spicy matchups. Skills, what's your matchup of the week here as the content creator for
sorry, matchup of the week. I really want to see this Conduit Esports Phoenix Omega Fever game. Or sorry, you're talking about Group A or Group B
Oh,
or
I
either?
just matchup of the week in general for all of
Yeah,
them.
Conduit versus Omega is definitely going to be the interesting matchup.
Conduit versus Omega. Yeah, I could see. I mean, a returning Omega Fever, they did pretty well last split. See how the Conduit Esports Phoenix squares up versus them. The other ones, is Chameleon the better team or the worst team that you said?
I think Chameleon's the better team.
That's gonna be a good matchup. Yeah, that should be a really good matchup. And then some of the other ones, Clown Gaming is going to 2-0 this team pretty easily, so we'll see how that goes. And looks like I think I might have somebody joining us to give their thoughts real quick on Eternal.
Oh boy.
Special guest, Give me one moment. Kills, you can yap. Talk about your final thoughts for the groups and any other comments you have, any content you
Yeah,
have taken
honestly,
from
there's
us.
really no reason for anybody to show up the rest of the season. Clown Gaming is just going to take the entire league. So I would recommend just FFing. Might as well save yourself some time.
I respect that opinion, and I agree. And if they're unable to do it themselves, I'm gonna just rig the league.
Yeah, I mean,
For
I'll come
for
sub in.
for for legal purposes, that is a joke. So with that being said, I have a special guest for us that is joined thanks to his Titan Plus subscription. It is Nation, the starting jungler for Kondo Esports Phoenix. Nation, can you hear me?
What is up? I can hear you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're live on the stream. Don't get us banned from Twitch. We have a big league to run, a lot of people to entertain for the next 12 weeks. So welcome to the stream. Thank you again for subscribing. Welcome to Counter Esports Phoenix to Eternal. Moving on up. Yeah, I'll give you the floor. You say whatever you want. As I said, don't get us banned. Go ahead.
All I gotta say is we're in this league. My goal is to go 1-5 or 1-6 or whatever it is, so I can make my way back to Divinity. That one win though, that one win though, that's gonna be against Chong Somo. That dude is booty. That's all I gotta say. And
Are you
thanks, dude.
are you trying to do better than your BOL record last season?
Yeah, we take baby steps. Add one win this season, maybe two next season. See how it goes.
Hey, we'll
Honestly,
see.
I respect it. I respect
We'll
it.
see if that works out. You've gone, what was it, 1-7, 1-6 before in Divinity, so
Bro, we don't talk about those.
maybe you can replicate or maybe flip that, and go 6-1 this time
No,
around
I
in
think I
Eternal.
think we replicate some of that success from the past season.
Yeah, we'll see if you're able to do that. You have a pretty stacked some stacked players around yourself with, you know, some
Yeah, we'll see how heavy the training weights are. See if we can break those off. They need
yeah,
it. They need the help. Maybe I'll
yeah.
have to sub myself or something.
Sub yourself, like bench yourself or something.
Yeah, bro.
We'll see how that shakes out. So yeah, any final thoughts for your Condor Esports team and what you're looking forward to in Eternal?
I think it'll be fun. All the dudes on the team, they're pretty chill. I enjoy playing with them. I didn't actually watch the draw show. I was cleaning up some cat vomit, unironically.
Oh,
So
well, you
I didn't hear too much yet.
yeah, you missed a lot, but I'm sure you'll watch it back maybe and check out where you got drawn, what teams you're playing against. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll
thanks
watch it back and we'll see.
thanks for joining us. Good luck in Eternal. I hope you do well, and I hope you slingshot in solo queue thanks to getting removed from Divinity, which has had a similar effect on a lot of people. So good luck
Yeah,
in
we
your
pray.
good luck in your solo queue climb, and good luck in Eternal.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks,
Peace.
Asian.
I have some upsetting news to share.
Oh, we're still live, Kills. What are your
That's
upsetting
fine.
news?
That is fine. The Bills did lose.
All right,
I am
yeah, we
upset.
know, we know our Bills suck, man. We're not gonna win tonight. It's over. It's over. But we have, hopefully, we'll get some good news about the Eternal team that will be joining us. I have a couple of requests that I'm not gonna look at right now because I want to finish this up and get things moving along. But real quick, to round out Eternal, I think I pretty much said everything that needs to be said for Eternal. And we had a special guest. We had Kills for all his content purposes and everything that he's providing for us. So Eternal Fearless Draft, tomorrow night you guys are playing. Yeah, I'll pick a stream match later on. Um, if you subscribe on Discord, maybe I'll stream your match, or we'll just pick one of the returning teams to play. Some interesting matchups. And good luck to everybody in Eternal. Thanks for signing up. We'll get another team in here so that you guys don't have bye weeks, bye matches. So yeah, Kills, any closing thoughts?
No, I've said everything we need to say.
Awesome. I really appreciate you joining us, and good luck in your Divinity split. We'll be looking forward to Eternal content from you as well. And yeah,
All right,
uh,
I'm excited.
appreciate it. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna jump over to Conqueror after this one. Thanks, everybody. See you in a bit. you and transition over.
Alrighty.
Welcome back. We are here for the Conqueror League of our fall split, which will be a 16-team league with a 7-week group stage and 8 teams making playoffs with an 840 prize pool. So this is one of our long-running leagues on Wednesday nights. This will not be fearless. It will be standard draft. So yeah, not much to say really here. It's a pretty standard 2-group 8 format with top 4 teams making playoffs, single round robin schedule. So that's pretty much it. Playoff bracket is 1v4 cross groups. So for Conquer, I have Relics joining me, who's one of our staff members. He's played in a couple of Emerald leagues as well. Recent champion of one of those leagues actually. So you guys might have seen him around. And this split, he'll actually be our Vanquisher director. So he's going to stick around for Vanquisher after this. So he's very familiar with all the teams playing there for sure. But for now, I'll get his input, some of his input on Conquer and some of the rosters that we have here. So with that being said, let's jump on over. Relics, do you want to do a say hello before I jump into this? Say hello, give a quick intro.
I'm Relics. I'm joined staff, I guess, last split. Helping Sems, trying to take more off his plate. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining me. I think we're sorry to conquer, but I might speed run this like faster than
Oh, I'm fine with that.
100T speed ran their way out of Worlds. So
100%.
yeah,
I'm not trying to be up until 1 a.m. So
I'm sure a lot of people are not either. So with that being said, let's spin the first team and conquer. And that team will be Dropping Point Strong Side. Dropping Point, I believe, tried to play a couple times in our league before, but this is their first time making here. Ignore some of my incorrect information, but their roster is, let's see. Dropping Point Strong Side has Jonesy Jukes at the top lane, Feral Dragon Jungle. IRL Land mid lane, Naga as ADC, and Piazza Party as support with Clay as a sub. I think they're pretty new, and I'm not very familiar with all these players, so I'm interested to see how they play and what they can show us.
yeah, I don't really recognize a lot of these players. I've seen Jonesy Jukes in the tickets from talking to them, but like that's really all I have about them.
Yeah, they definitely seem excited to play in Titan, so I want to see what they're able to show us, to be honest. And I love getting new orgs, new players, new teams in, so super excited to see what Dropping Point can do in Conquer. They'll be the first team in Group A, and we'll go on and roll for the next team. I hope none of the teams are offended that we're running through some of you guys, but trust me, there'll be content throughout the split, so everybody will get their names mentioned. For the next team up, we have Agape Esports, and they are also a newer team, which I believe one of the only people I'm familiar with is their actual team contact. So similar to Dropping Point, new players, new org, essentially, with Cyrix in the top lane, 55 Azrael, Abzani in the jungle role, Reminisce in the mid lane, Envious ADC, and I forgot Airholes as support with Swoosie as their sub. Relics, are you familiar with any of these players or the
I'm
org
gonna be
itself?
honest, I don't recognize a lot of them. The only one that really stands out to me is the ADC. I'm curious how he does since his peak is Gold 1. So see how he performs in Emerald, to say the
True.
least.
Hey, taking a tougher competition level by playing up
I
with
respect it.
I respect it too, you know. That's how you improve. You improve by playing versus better players. So, we'll see if how he's able to perform alongside
It's like your
his.
X rank, right? I mean, what? Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. So, Agape will be the first team in Group B, and welcome to them, to Titan, and we'll spin for the next team. The next team up will be Syndicate Coke. And that is the drink Coke, like Coca-Cola. because you'll find out why, and they have a sister team that has a similar name. So Syndicate is coming to us this split with two teams. Oh look, I jumped over without leaking the name of the other team. So Syndicate Coke has Forfeit Spada in the top lane, Trad in the jungle role, Retail Row, or Codis in the mid lane, Solo Mason as ADC, and then Frozen Spuds as support with OTF as a sub. So I believe a lot of these players are returning from last split. I don't think,
Yeah,
did any of them actually play together? I don't think so. Maybe on a
I
couple different teams,
don't
but
think so.
this is a mix of some solid players, I'd say, from last split. Relic's thoughts on the Syndicate Coke team?
I think this is probably one of the best teams out there.
Oh yeah.
I do think they're Solo Mason's the one that really sticks out to me. I think he's probably be one of the best ADCs this split. Spuds also, he's a pretty solid support, so I'm curious how him and they work together. Codis in the mid lane also really solid. I haven't seen Trad play for about a split, and then fourth spot also pretty solid. OTF as your sub is also insane, so I think this is a pretty good team.
I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of these players, their starters, they're the best thing. I think they do the best is actually just yap and
Well, they're like the best yappers by
keep my
far.
general chat active, which is like pretty much their whole lineup, and that's the thing they're best at. With the exception of Solo Mason, he's probably gonna have to 1v9 for this team, if I'm being honest. That's my honest opinion. Um, so we'll see how Solo Mason is able to do with these other talking words, I'd say. So welcome back to Syndicate Coke. We'll see if you guys are able to raise the trophy this time around. And let's spin for the next team. Next team is Dove Knights, a returning org. I never I never asked what Dove stands for, but so I have to keep putting in Dove Knights because that's what they submitted as. But welcome back to Dove Knights. They have Kali G in the top lane, Caxi as jungle, Root and Neum in the mid lane, Arcs Knight as ADC, and Drop the Chalupa as support. Relic's thoughts on the Dove team?
I recognize a few of these players. I think they're gonna probably be pretty average this year. Last year I think they almost made playoffs. I think they were one spot off. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Caxi. I'm a pretty good player. Curious how he does this split. And then Arc Snipes, pretty sure he just keeps improving every split too. So curious how they do as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think they all probably hope that they're going to be able to make playoffs this time around. And they should be able to, depending on how the groups shake out. But welcome back to Dove.
They
They
were
should
really
be,
close last split.
yeah, they were one game off. Literally got eliminated
Yeah.
got eliminated the last week of the regular season. So let's draw the next team. Next team up is Spider-Bite Esports Tarantula. This is another team that's coming back. I wasn't sure if they were going to, but they made it. And they have Sancerino in the top lane, Tyler in the jungle role, Dalto in the mid lane, Lush in the ADC role, and Frozen Bullet as support with Trixlar as a sub with their contact team captain, org owner, Olram. So welcome back to Spider-Bite Esports Tarantula. I believe they were one of the teams that also had that group of death in Group B and had a lot of competition and missed out on playoffs last split. Relic's thoughts on this team?
I'm pretty sure I recognize quite a bit of these players. I do think this is probably another really good team. I think they're probably a playoff team again. How far they go is to be known. Um, I like a lot of their players. It's just gonna come down to I guess how they play together, and yeah, they're in the group of death last split, so we'll see if they're in an easier group this split.
Yeah, we'll see how that shakes out for them. Currently, they have Syndicate Coke and Dropping Point Strong Side in their group. So let's go on over and spin for the next team, which is Syndicate Pepsi. And yeah, this is the other Syndicate team, and I believe they just go into Group B, which is correct. Let's go
Yeah.
check out the Pepsi version of Syndicate. They have Strangleroot in the top lane, Macaroni Elves in the jungle role, Stash in the mid lane, May as ADC, and then Disha as support with Hep as their sub, super sub Hep, and their coach Dig Baron. Wow, look at Dig Baron, coach in Syndicate. Um, Relic's thoughts on the Syndicate Pepsi team?
Um, I think they're going to be really good again. I'm again. I like their bot lane. D Shot's incredible support. May really good ADC. I've heard of Strangleroot. I don't really know too much about them to be honest. And then their jungle mid is not somebody I'm too familiar with as well. But I do think this is a really good team. Usually Syndicate puts together pretty solid teams.
Yeah, I agree. I would expect them to be pretty solid as well. Maybe as good or worse than their Coke version. I'm sure we'll have some debates on which drink and which team is better throughout the split. So, welcome to the other syndicate team. We'll go on and spin for the next team, which is Conduit Esports Vanguard, another Conduit team with no logo yet, but they have Krama in the top lane, Glada in jungle, Chinese Spy in the mid lane, Genetics as ADC, and Yipsy in the support role. Relics, any thoughts on the Vanguard team?
I recognize a lot of these players. They're pretty sure they're pretty solid all across the board. And Yipsy is one of them that I haven't seen for a bit, but I've heard that he's very good support again. Chinese Spy, good mid laner. Um, Glada, think I've seen play before, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty decent. So, but I think this is a pretty solid roster. I don't really know. I think they're either playoffs or just barely outside of playoffs,
Okay,
personally.
okay. We'll see how how their group shakes out if they're able to contend for a playoff spot. So let's spin for the next team. Which is Funny Business Cape Dogs. This is one of the teams from the Funny Business org that is playing in Divinity. They have Daze in the top lane, Tigsy in the jungle role, Thorn as mid lane, Sheba the dog as ADC, Sirius 4Y as support. Relics, any thoughts on this team?
Um, I know top and jungle. Tigsy's a really good jungler. He's big champ pool. Days we just recently played him in another league. Pretty solid top laner. The rest of the team not really very familiar with. I don't have too much to say about them.
Okay, okay. I know, yeah, same things as you mentioned, but we'll see how they're able to do in Conqueror with some of these other teams. It's just gonna have to grab some water. Good jungle ADC duo. So Funny Business Cape Dogs will be going into Group B, and we're gonna spin for the next team. Which is Tilt Esports World Enders. This is the same exact team that we drew in Eternal with Weatherneck in top lane, Chris in the jungle role, Zed in mid lane, KTL ADC, and Kakala in support. I think we already talked about them, and I'm sure they will get talked about more throughout the split. So we can go on ahead and roll for the next team, as Tilt
Yeah,
Esports is going to be the fifth team in Group A.
they're in Group A. Holy crap!
Yeah, Group A shaking out to be really nice, really
Or Spider Bite
spicy.
again.
And the next team drawn is Dorado Gaming Iota, another returning team with a different iteration of their Iota roster this time around, with Sunrai in the top lane, Love in the jungle role, Nezumi as mid, Efron as ADC, which I believe is just a filler right now, and then EXE as their support. Relics thoughts on
Efron
the
is a
Iota team?
Efron's a man of many talents,
I
apparently.
know, right?
Jungle, mid, ADC. What's next? Uh, the only person I know on this team is XE or whatever his name is, and then Sunrai. XE's I played against him in Eternal last split. Really good support. So the rest of them I don't really know too well, but normally Dorado's pretty good at putting together a roster. So curious to see what their finalized team looks like. So I assume it's not Efron, like you said.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sunrise is playing support on their Monday team in Eternals, so I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with his top lane game, but um,
On tank duty.
yeah. If they're able to round out this roster with a strong ADC, they could be pretty good. Um, so yeah, welcome back to Iota. We'll see if they're going to be how they'll perform this time around. And they should be in Group B. We'll spin for the next team. The next team up is True Minded Gaming Demon Hunters. And that team has Zenkara in the top lane, Counter in the jungle role, Exotic mid lane, Dart Monkey ADC, and McLovin as support. Relics, any thoughts on TMG?
I'm pretty familiar with I think actually almost all these players minus Sankara. Counter played a couple games in Conquer last split. Exotic's a pretty solid mid laner, and Dart Monkey or Yoi is pretty sure a pretty solid ADC. So I think this team's going to be probably playoffs this split, but I do think they're in Group A. Yeah, so I do think Group A is shaping up to be the group of death. So yeah, this is they're gonna have quite the interesting group.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a rough time in Group A for sure with
I
some of the
agree.
competition there. But they have some solid players, so maybe they can squeeze out a playoff spot as well. Let's spin the next team. Next team up is TFF Eclipse, another team that's been playing another org that's been playing our Divinity League and moving on up with some graduates from that league. With Walk Warlock in the top lane, Cocoa Puffs in the jungler role, Ethereal Ice in the mid lane, Nintendo Forever in ADC, and Islamic Samurai as support with Coconut as their sub. This is actually 4. I believe this is 4 people that actually played in plat leagues that all ranked up and became eligible in the summer. So now they're all moving up, which is great to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nintendo played in what was it, ALL on Thursdays, and I remember watching them, and I thought they're insane. They definitely deserve to be playing in Emerald, so I'm a big fan of them. I think they're really good. Ethereal Life I haven't seen for a bit. Walk Warlock I'm excited to see up in Emerald as well. Islamic Samurai too, pretty solid player. So I'm curious to see how this team does. I think they're in Group B, like you said.
Yeah,
So
they
I
are.
definitely think there's playoff hopes
Yeah,
potentially for them.
I agree. Group B is shaking out to be the group of life essentially. So TFF
It's a good
Eclipse
name for
and
it.
some of these graduated players should have a fun time over there. So let's move on and spin the next team, which is Flash for Coin Flip. Flash for Coin Flip is filled with where's my roster? Okay, they have Demonic Sombra in top lane, Explosive Jungle, Cristobal mid, Too Much Carry ADC, and Sets Baby Girl support. Um,
So I think pretty sure I scrimmed this team at one point, like when was on Paperboat, and I'm pretty sure they're a pretty solid team. I
okay.
don't recognize too many of the players though, but I do think their ranks. If this is the same team that I'm thinking about, I think their ranks are a little um
Not representative of their actual
exact.
competitive skill level.
Exactly. I think they play together pretty well, but that's only if that's the actual team I'm thinking about. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this team's actually be pretty decent.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar.
In the
Yep.
group A though, group of death, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's
They're gonna get tested.
definitely a tougher group and a lot of testing that happened there. Um, So welcome to Explosive and his Flash for Coin Flip team. And we'll spin for the next team. And Explosive confirmed that he does scrim you guys, Relics. So the next team up
That's what I
is,
thought.
I was actually very quick to click that, but it is Sensei Squad and Ari with Fluffy Moonbell in the top lane, Zazikal in the jungle role, Superfoss in the mid lane, Chasing Logic, ADC, and Symphonic as support with Bow Explode and ZPM as their subs. So this is another team that's returning that was in the Group B, group of death essentially last split, and they missed out on playoffs, had some rough opponents. But a lot of these players are pretty similar from the last team. I'm pretty sure
Pretty sure
like
it's almost
four.
identical, isn't it?
Yeah, just the support changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're now in the group of life as you're calling it, so I'm curious to see how they do. Um, I guess we really didn't get to see them too much because of the group of death last split, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they do this split. I think they're pretty solid players though from watching them last split.
Yeah, I agree. They've had very difficult groups for the past like 2, 3 splits that they participated. So this is probably
They're probably
a little
cheering
bit
now.
a little bit different for them, but I don't think they shy away from the competition that was either. So they enjoy it.
Love to see it.
But yeah, welcome back to Sensei Squad, and we'll spin for the second to last team, which will be Bing Chiller's Rocky Road. So this is Bing
Of
Chiller's
course.
roster with Super Chase top, Sovereign in the jungle role, Zumi mid lane, Tonic ADC, and Nahor as support. Um, they had 2 teams last split. One of them had an unfortunate turn of events and didn't do so well. The other one just barely missed out on playoffs in the last week of the regular season. So this time around, they come with a different roster. Relic's thoughts on the iteration of Bing Chillers here?
Um, I don't know too much about these guys if I'm being honest. I'm sure they're pretty well known names though, because Bing Cheerleaders usually puts together pretty solid rosters from what I've seen. Of course they're in the group of death though, so they're back in because they had one of their teams in the
True.
group of death last time. So
Yeah,
what? So now they're gonna, and I think didn't they drop? I think or
that's what I was
something
saying.
happened.
Unfortunate turn of events, man. It happens to the best
Eh,
of us. we
true. So
won't we won't talk about
now
it.
now they're back in the group of death because they weren't. Yeah,
Yeah, welcome
I'm
back
excited
to.
to see how they. Yeah, excited to see how they do.
Yep, I think their top and support are regulars of amateur, and they've been pretty solid in their respective roles. So we'll see how the rest of the roster rounds out, and if they're able to make it to playoffs in Group A. And last but not least, we're gonna spin for the last team, which is drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. Omega Esports Fever. So this is another team that is playing in Eternal and Conquer. So we kind of already talked about them. It is pretty much, if I can find them, the exact same roster as Eternal
Yeah.
with Stubby, Sailor, Kiba, Evil Zara, and Naysayer. So not much to say about them, other than they're playing Eternal and Conquer, and we already talked about them. So for the standings, however, they do get to go into Group B, so we can briefly look at both of these groups as we have drawn all 16 of the teams. So for Group A, you can see here all the teams. Relics, any thoughts on top four? You know, who's
Um,
missing out, who's making it?
I think Tilt, Syndicate Coke, Spider-Bite, and maybe I think it's gonna be between TMG and then Bing Chillers is probably what's gonna happen. But like at the same time, like there's so many of those teams that could just knock out another team. I think Group A is insanely close.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a tough group for a lot of these teams. Gonna be a lot of back and forth. Some bloodbath series is during the split on a weekly basis. So good luck to all the teams in Group A. I'll say that. I won't give my own personal opinion on who's gonna make it, but I'm sure we'll have a lot of content coming out surrounding power rankings and such. Group B relics.
Um, I do think Omega Fever is probably the gonna be the kings of this group essentially. I think Pepsi and is a very close second though. Sensei Squad also, I'm curious to see how they do. And then I think it was Eclipse that I was a fan of. I think they could potentially sneak in there as well. I don't know Dorado's Iotas too much, so we'll be curious to see what they look like too, what their rosters finalized
Yep,
as.
yep. I agree. Difficult to gauge their roster
Yeah,
strength when you don't know the final piece, essentially. But they should be competitive, and compete for a playoff spot at minimum.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So that's pretty much all the teams and groups. As I said previously, for schedule wise, it's all predetermined. So now we've replaced the template names, groups, etc., with your actual matches. So this Wednesday, you can see all the matches here. We'll pick a stream match sooner rather than later, um, and we'll see how things go. So looking forward to an exciting Conqueror split. Good luck to all the participating teams, um, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday nights. Relix, any final thoughts on Conquer?
Just looking at the schedule, Syndicate, Pepsi, and Omega Fever week 1 is going to be insane. I'm excited to see that one.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how their teams perform again this split. It was fun watching them last split, so see how it goes again.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds good. Well, good luck to all the Conqueror players. We are going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with our biggest league, which is Vanquisher, that has 22 teams. Our Diamond League Masters 100 capped plays on Tuesday nights. So we'll be back within a couple of minutes to get that league drawn. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're getting into the thick of it with our Vanquisher League, which is our Masters 100 cap league, which is pretty much diamond, filled with diamond players, a couple of masters here and there. That plays on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. With this time around for our fall split, we have 22 teams participating, which will play in a 7-week group stage, and then 12 teams will make playoffs with a 1500, 1540 prize pool. So pretty exciting league. Schedule and standings real quick. So it's going to be 2 groups of 7 and then 1 group of 8. So basically for the group C, everybody plays single round robin. For group A and B, everybody plays single round robin, and in addition to that, one match for each week is a cross group match. So for example, if you get drawn into A1, you play B1 for your cross group, and so on. You can see in the schedule here, A3, B3 is in week 1, and then week 2 cross group is between A7 and B7. Whereas in group C, pretty standard single round robin. So we wanted to accept as many teams as we could, and unfortunately we couldn't get to 24 to make it even groups. If there are, no, I shouldn't say that. If we do magically get like 2 teams before Tuesday, I might actually change it, because all I have to do is actually change this to be A3 versus the 8th team that's drawn. But that's probably not going to happen. So the schedule is going to stay like this. Top 4 from each group make playoffs, with cross group matches counting for group A and B. So I have Relics with me here as well, who will be your Vanquisher director for this split. So for game nights, any questions, etc., everything should go through him. I will not be available Tuesday nights, so he'll be running the show and yeah, making sure all your problems are resolved in a timely manner, and we have a smooth split, a smooth match night every week. So with that being said, for the draw, we do have 8 teams in Group C, so we're actually going to do flipped. So C is going to go first. So C, B, then A, and then back to C, because we don't want to have the last 2 teams just automatically slot into C. So we're going to start with C, and then go to B, and then A, and then back again. So with that being said, let's spin for the first team. In
Alrighty.
Vanquisher, it is Iridescent Dawn Ignite. Relics,
Okay, I can read off the players.
take it away.
We've pretty sure this team's gonna be subject to change because I think they're still doing roster additions. But they have XBKP in the top lane so far, Rigor Mortis in the jungle, Blazing Cake mid lane, and then Mystic ADC. I'm pretty sure they've actually added a player or 2 already, and I might have just not seen it yet. But yeah, this is the one of Iridescent Dawn's teams.
Awesome. Welcome back to Iridescent Dawn.
Welcome, welcome.
Yep, they'll be the first team in Group C, and we're gonna spin for the next team, which is TMG Death Knights, one of the 2 true-minded gaming teams that are participating here. And before you read off their roster, Relics, I would like to announce that we are actually having a partnership with True Minded Gaming for this upcoming fall split, where we will be streaming one of their matches, whether it's TMG Death Knights or TMG Warriors, on our secondary Twitch channel every week. So depending on which match they choose, we'll be streaming those 2 teams specifically for the full regular season split, and then playoffs to be announced. So yeah, thank you to Cone of TMG for working out that partnership with us. Looking forward to actually covering them the full split. So it'll be an interesting, different little version of how we cover stream matches for the secondary stream. So we'll see how that plays out, since we'll be able to look back on all their matches throughout the full split, or at least for one of the 2 teams. So yeah, partnership
Definitely
with
throwing that
TMG.
curveball at me.
Yeah, you didn't
Midstream.
expect that. Yeah, yeah. Every week you're gonna get to watch TMG on Titan Esports too. So welcome
Anyways,
to. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
we got Canny in the top lane, Metashift jungle, Michael Ross in the mid lane, Crushing Rock ADC, and then Mitski in the ADC, and then they have the sub Hot. This team actually just did a couple roster changes. I think they like switched positions like for their players, so um, seems like they don't know what roles they're going to be doing yet, or they have figured it out. Excited to see this team though, one of the two TMG teams.
Yes, sir. I agree. So yeah, just to be clear, for the partnership stream stuff, the main Titan stream will still have our diverse weekly streams. So once again, shout out to the TMG for that partnership. And let's go on over and spin for the next team. Next team will be South Hill Scrappers.
It's funny, that's one of our teams that helped us fill the league. We got Finity in the top lane, ASN JSN in the jungle, Pyrosi in the mid lane, Borla in the ADC, and then Lord Tubbington in the support role with Heiko, Gargoomba, and Truth Remains as the subs. I really don't know much about these players. And you guys will learn that throughout the split because I believe I'm doing content for you guys, so that should be interesting. But I'm excited to see how they do. Their logo is actually pretty funny too, so I'm excited to see how they perform.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about some of these teams throughout the split with some of the content that you cook up, right?
Exactly. We're
Yeah, I am
cooking.
I am familiar, not really, but Asian Jason is playing in BLO Draft League, which is I'm playing there too. So
Okay.
people said some good stuff about him. So we'll see. I think he was like one of the top draft picks, if I remember correctly. So we'll see
They
how
should be competitive.
yeah, we'll see how he does here with more organized team play compared to just draft. But that speaks to his individual skill level, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So good luck and welcome to South Hill Scrappers. Next team up is True Minded Gaming Warriors.
They gonna be placed in. Okay, no, they're in iridescence pool. Okay. We got Jen in the top lane, Scootin in the jungle, gapped by jungle in the mid lane, Sunflower ADC, Cool as the support with Team G Cone and Milk as the subs. This team I'm super excited for too. Um, I think TMG usually puts together pretty solid rosters if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, cool guys too. So I'm curious to see how they do again. I
Awesome,
think they have
awesome.
two. I think did they have any rosters in Vanquisher last split?
They
Or
had
they have
one.
one. Okay.
They missed playoffs unfortunately, but they did stick it out and play throughout the full regular season split and try to make some upsets in the last couple of weeks, unlike some of the teams that forfeited and dropped. We had a lot of forfeits in the Vanquisher last split,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But last split, just briefly on a short tangent, we had two groups of 10 with 4 out of 10 teams making playoffs in each group, which is 8 out of 20 teams, which is 40% making playoffs. So this time around, we kind of like heard some of the feedback from everybody to try to get more teams into playoffs and give them an opportunity to, you know, sneak a win or get further into playoffs or make playoffs more hype. I don't know what you want to call it. Versus instead of making regular season more important. Whereas like, 4 out of 10 every week matters for regular season. Whereas now, 4 out of 7, 4 out of 8, you can lose a couple of matches here and there and still not be necessarily worried about missing out on playoffs.
Just
So
need to make playoffs.
yeah, pretty much. And then once you make playoffs, you're like, hey, all it takes is one night, one good night, and we can keep going. So yeah, adjustment based on feedback we're getting. Hopefully it works out for the better, and we still have a very competitive regular season. So
Agreed.
that is the second TMG team, and now we're gonna spin for the next team, which is it is Rubber Ducky Gaming Echo.
They are back.
Yeah.
So in the top lane we got Bimbo. In the jungle we got Egg, but it's Ek, so whatever that means. Hexify in the mid lane, Diana in the ADC, and then Pup Noofster in the support with Ziffer, Chili Blue, and Sophian as their subs. I believe Rubber Ducky wasn't in our last split, but they're here quite often if I'm not mistaken. So I'm excited to see them back. Um, I really don't know too much about this roster, but normally Drake is usually putting together a pretty solid team. So
Yeah, a bunch of their teams have been boot camping and stuff and trying to climb and improve as much as they can. So welcome back to RG to Vanquisher as well. So glad to have them back and see how competitive they'll be. And let's spin for the next team. Next team up is the Winning Formula, a returning
shit,
team.
they are back. I don't even know how to say that name. We got Jake in the top lane, Zohair in the jungle, quality player in the mid lane with Kentology, ADC, and helper support with Arcadius and Sourcewalker as their subs. Um, I'm excited to see how this team plays this year. This split, I'm pretty sure they were pretty solid last split too. Can't remember if they made playoffs or if they just missed out, but they're a pretty solid team. So I'm curious to see how they do again. Um, their subs are pretty solid, and Arcadius is one that I think just moved up from Conquer as well.
Yeah, he did.
So hopefully we'll see him on the Rift as well and seeing how he performs in Vanquisher.
Yeah, agreed. This team to last split, they started the split 4-0, right? And they were supposed to be like, a really good team. They were gonna win it all, and they thought they were gonna go undefeated. Unfortunately, their split took a turn for the worse, and they started facing some of the tougher teams, and they finished 4-5. So unfortunately, they did not make playoffs. But I'm assuming they'll expect to have a better performance this time around and be a little
Coming
bit more
back better than ever.
yeah, be a little bit more consistent for the second half of the split. All right, let's move on to the next team, which is Turbo Gaming.
There they are. I think this is one of the newer teams that I've seen too. But we got ISTP top, Nova Jungle, Cherry Kilo in the mid lane, and then Man in the ADC and Joxy in the support. I really don't know too much about this team as well. They look like pretty solid players. Their mid laner looks like a really solid player. I'm curious about their top jungle and then ADC since they are looks like typical Emerald players. So I'm curious they're going to be punching up this split. So we'll see. Curious how they do. Respect for them for not shying away from competition though.
True, true, true. We'll see how they do here. Welcome to some of the Turbo Gaming players. I think some of them are new to comp as well, so glad to see that.
Yeah.
Let's spin the next team, which will be Oversoul Esports Reincarnate.
I gotta find them. There they are. We got Limester in the top lane, Swifty jungle, Freedom Potatoes in the mid lane, Matt Chat in the ADC, and then Scarloy in support, with Frith in the as a sub. I think this is majority of returning players, if I'm not mistaken. Um, pretty sure last split too, they were barely just missed out on playoffs. They were fighting for that last spot, but they just barely missed out as well. I'm curious to see if we can see Oversoul make playoffs this split.
Yeah, they've definitely got the short end of the stick last time around, as they missed out on tiebreakers, I believe. So that was unfortunate for them, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly the same roster. I don't think Swifty played last time, because he took a break, but I believe he's back now. So that's a core part of their team, and maybe he'll get them to playoffs this time around. So welcome back to Oversoul Esports.
I'm not gonna lie, I read the T as a H, so oh, that's his
Yeah,
new name now though.
he's got a name change to match that.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's spin the next team. Next team up is Pentaflex.
Alrighty, where are they? There they are. All right, we got Soul Poppy in the top lane, Phoenix in the jungle, No Turt in the mid lane, Outflayed in the ADC, and Shmi in the support, with Fallback and Castile as the subs. Um, looks like a lot of the just looking at throughout the rosters, like a lot of the washed up summoners are either mid lanes or ADCs. So I'm curious how that's going to turn out. But Pentaflex looks like a pretty decent team again. I'm curious how the support does since he is going to be punching up again. Um, their mid lane looks pretty solid from what I've seen. But I don't really recognize a lot of these players as well.
Yeah, I think I've only seen their jungler running some in-house server scrims and stuff. So actually, Noter and Mr. Shmi both played a couple of years ago in some of the lower leagues. So now they've improved a lot and playing in Diamond essentially. So welcome back to them and welcome to Pentaflex. So we're gonna spin for the next team, which is gonna be Flash Syndicates.
Alrighty, we got Adaptable Ape in the top lane, not important in the jungle. One of our staff members, actually. Terry in the mid lane, Conveyable in the ADC, and Bento in the support with Lian, Winner, Chard, and then Vietnam Dragon. I'm gonna be honest, I only know Lost or not important. I think I've seen this team play. I think they're playing in Risen right now, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I might have watched one of their games, but I'm pretty sure this team's gonna be pretty solid. Another Syndicate team too, so I think they should. From what Syndicate's record is they should be pretty solid.
Yeah, we'll see if Lost is able to perform as well as he did in Conqueror, where he was a champion, moving on up to um, our Vanquisher League this time around. So good luck to him and his Flash Syndicates roster. And we're gonna spin the next team, which is going to be Drop Dead Gaming Vultures.
I think this is another returning team, or is they're new to Vanquisher?
Returning.
Okay. We got. Holy crap! That first name. We'll call him Male in the top lane. We got Michael Wave in the jungle. Apathon, Apith. Good lord, I can't spell. In the mid lane. Blue Blush in the ADC, and then Grand Vundra in the support with Antigua in the sub, and then Voyage and Fable as their support or subs.
Yeah, I think their Vundra and their mid laner are returning from their last team, and they made playoffs, but this is a slightly different roster, and I believe they lost in the first round of playoffs. So we'll see if they can improve on that performance.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't really remember.
Yep. Welcome back to Drop Dead Gaming. We'll spin for the next team, which is Tuxedo Magnum.
All right, where are they? All right, so we got Jaded Cloud in the top lane with Gladiator in the jungle, Matug in the mid lane, David in the ADC, and Tyr as the support with Fright Arrow, Executive Gold Star, and Snurka as the subs. Um, again, I'm curious. I'm going to keep pointing out, like, I'm curious about the ADC, Emerald too, but he does have a master support with him, so we're curious to see how that duo works out. Um, yeah, a lot of these players I don't really know too well. Pretty sure we've said that Tier's been around, but I don't know.
Yeah,
You'll be learning names this split.
yeah, you will. You'll be learning a lot of new names, but most of these players are new to Titan as well, so welcome to all of them. Real quick, I'll take a look at the standings. So Group C, you can see the teams in there. Group B and Group A, as we're halfway through the draw. And then we're gonna spin for the next team in Group C. And we'll briefly talk about the groups at the end, but most of that will be covered in upcoming future content, I'd say. So the next team up is Bloom Gaming Rose.
That is T1 Jace in the top lane, Master in the jungle, Crits is the mid lane, Quinka Pop in the ADC, and Yuma in the support with Cloudberry, who's their org owner as well as the sub. Don't know too much about this team again. I'm pretty sure I've seen the name Crits before. I know Jace. He's just recently moving up from Emerald Diamond League, Diamond 4 leagues. So I'm curious to see how he does in the M100 cap leagues. But happy to see Bloom Gaming in Titan this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Split.
The late entrance for two of their teams, and they got a really solid top laner right there, you know. And
Yes, I
we'll
agree.
see we'll see how they perform this split in our Venture League. So good luck to Bloom. And we're gonna spin for the next team, which is gonna be Sensei Squad Tsukuyomi. Let's see. Take it away, Relics.
Alrighty, we got Bunny in the top lane, Bolt in the jungle, Cammy in the mid lane, Sala in the ADC, and Magnum in the support with Shadoko, Water Bear, and Splitbread as their subs. A lot of these names I recognize, I'm pretty sure. Another Sensei Squad team, so it's great to see them in Vanquisher. Yeah, again, the Washed Up Summoner being the mid lane again, which I think we've been seeing that quite a bit throughout pulling the teams. But yeah, I'm reading the chat. Like people are saying that Group B looks pretty strong right now, and this is another team that just got thrown into Group B. So we'll see. Curious to see how they do.
For sure, for sure. Alright, let's spin the next team. And that will be Universal Basic Income.
Alrighty. So I believe I got pinged a bit ago about that their rules are off, but we'll just read them off how they are right now. We got Jaffe in the top lane, Sybil Lock in the jungle, Jeff mid, Fang over Fang, ADC, Rafa in the support, and then Utility Monster as their sub. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure some of these guys we know. What was it? One of them was a caster or whatever. I think Rafa, maybe. I think, but
Yes.
uh, the thing again, I'm gonna point out though, uh, Jungle's Platinum 1, definitely gonna be punching up. So I'm excited to see that, and yeah, love the logo too.
They had some roster changes. I'm just gonna move them around real quick. So it's Jaffe, Rafa Jungle, Civillock, mid. I'm trying to do this as quick as I can.
Midstream, let's go.
Jeff God Gamer, ADC, and then Fang over Fang as their support or utility monster as a sub. I believe that's correct. Yeah. So their updated roster is Jaffe, Rafa, Civillock, Jeff Godgamer, and Fangoverfang.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Updated. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so Rafa the caster, their jungler is going to be their weak point most likely, right? We'll see. Or now their mid
Jungle
laner
mid.
Civillock, yeah. Jungle mid is that's important, dude.
Now they got this. They got this.
Vanquisher, like last split, honestly, jungle mid was like some of the best players that we've seen in our diamond leagues, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
And a lot of those players also ranked up. But I'm probably discrediting some of the really good ADCs that we had as well. But yeah, I think it was a jungle mid league last split. People can disagree or agree. I'm probably usually right. So welcome Universal Basic Income. This is actually a team that's played for a long time in friend of foe esports, which is now the org esports designs and stuff that Chris, our production director, runs. So he does some great stuff, does all of our production, our package, etc. So makes the show very entertaining. So shout out to friend or foe esports and Chris Sunga. And we're gonna spin for the next team. Which is Primordial Spire.
Alrighty. Their jungler was recently let go, so we got Jolts in the top lane. Currently look for a jungle, which I think I was pinged again right before stream. Obongo mid, Zeri ADC, and then Storm support with no subs. Pretty sure I can't remember what Spire team was in last split, but I'm pretty sure Primordial Spire was in not last split, but the split before. So it's good to see them returning. Yeah, Spire's been great org.
Yeah, they've
The last
had.
couple bit.
I agree. They've had strong rosters as long as they can figure out their jungle situation. I think they should be a good team. Let's spin the next team, which is Galaxy Gaming Vortex.
Galaxy Gaming Vortex, where are they? There they are. Alright, so we got Crazy King Caillou in the top lane, Satan in the jungle, Awoke in the mid lane, Nozomi in the ADC, and Xerix in the support with Nacho Chip as the sub. I keep pointing it out, but again, like the Emeralds punching up, so I'm really curious to see what Emeralds the split are going to be good and going to be consistent, to say the least. But again, another uh, org that's I think Galaxy Gaming coming back is one of the things that has been talked about amongst the community. But Nozomi is going to be their ADC is probably going to be their hard carry or look to carry the team.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Welcome to Galaxy Gaming. We're gonna spin for the next team. Going into Group A, which is going to be Optimal Esports Dynasty.
Alrighty. So we got a Batman in the top lane, Guo in the jungle, Vile in the mid, Kush ADC, and QWER as the support, which I think QWER is just recently ranked out last split, and he was playing on I think that OED team in Eternal and or Conquer last split for D4. So he's curious to see how he does this split. Kush is a pretty solid ADC. I'm not so familiar with Vile and Guo, but I'm pretty sure Batman's pretty solid top laner. So curious to see how this team does. But where did they even land?
They're in Group A.
Group A.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so
So
yeah,
the Optimal Dynasty actually won our Eternal League with their support pretty much running the team.
yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah. But they lost in the finals of our Conquer League, so he's moving up as he ranked out, and he's built a pretty solid team around himself. So completely revamped, but we'll see how they do and if he's able to keep up with the competition in Vanquisher. And we will spin for the 7th team in Group C, which will be Exalted Gaming.
Salted Gaming. So we got carry in the top lane, Fenix Flare in the jungle, Earl King. Mid lane, Azafa ADC, Itchy Rat support with a whole bunch of subs: Rover, Idris, Vervax, and Zeph. No improvise the split since he's now, I don't know where he's playing, but yeah, pretty solid roster I think. Fenix he said to let him know about peaking Masters or whatever because he's not a D1 trash can from what he said. But yeah, pretty solid roster I think. I'm excited to see this team play. I was a big fan of watching them last split, so we'll see uh, what they look like.
Yeah, for sure. It's it's Phoenix Flare, by the way.
Oh, whatever.
But Fenix could be his new name. Yeah, so
Bro, I'm
they're
giving all these guys new names, okay?
yeah, I respect
They're
that. I
all got a
respect
name
that.
change too.
That's what you gotta do as you know, run the league the way you want it, you know?
Exactly.
Add some entertainment and flavor to it. Well, let's move on to the next team. Next team is Akuma Blades.
Okay, this team's another exciting team, I think. We got Andy in the top lane, Shade Slayer in the jungle. I'm not even trying to pronounce that mid lane because I'm gonna screw it up. Fluke in the ADC, Snapsky in the support, with Spadel, Toomey, and Sultan as the subs. Um, Another returning team. I think
Yes.
Fluke is actually really good. He looked really good last split too. I can't remember how
Yes.
they finished,
They just
but
they made playoffs as the 4th seed.
okay. But I'm excited to see them play again this split. I think they're in the group B, right? Which I
Yeah,
think
they
people are
are.
saying is that group of death right now or hard group or whatever. So curious to see how they perform. I do think them and Rubber Ducky are probably the teams in that group are the hardest at the minute. So
Yeah, by the way, their mid laner is Wasal.
yeah, I wasn't gonna try to pronounce
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. And he was a champion last split, so he
Was he?
did.
Okay.
Yes, he did. They let him play. He's supposed to be a talent one trick, I think, but they let him play his talent in the finals, and I think they won that game.
Wait, really? Wow.
Yeah, a little bit of an ego check by the opposing finals mid laners, so
No kidding.
didn't work out too well. And that's why he was a champion and Akuma picked him up. So we'll see if he's able to repeat from last split. And let's spin for the last team for Group A. Which is the We Love Solbert Goobers edition.
That's what WLS stands for. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes.
All right, we got Ben in the top lane, Birdio in the jungle, Manatsu in the mid lane. Is he on 2 rosters? Soulbird ADC, and then Oprah Winfrey in the support with Gatso and then Jackie Chan as their subs. Gatoso. Interesting. I really don't know too many of these players again. Soulbert's, I've seen the name around, and everyone seems to love him according to his name, so.
One sec. So We Love Solbert is the second to last team that's drawn. But since
They have to go in,
yes,
yeah.
since the last team is ID Frozen and ID Ignite is already in Group C, ID Frozen will go into Group A and We Love Solbert will go into Group C. So, with We Love Solbert being talked about, we're gonna spin for the last team, which is ID
Why do we need to spin?
Frozen. You gotta spin. You gotta always spin. And ID Frozen will go into Group A instead. So just for some clarification. Shout out to
Okay.
Dilly behind the scenes catching that.
Yeah, good job, Dilly. So we got Masuf in the top lane. Good lord, I'm gonna say this name wrong too. Joby in the jungle. Newfie's mid. Dibble ADC, and then TTV in the support with Palace and Beyond Godly as the subs. And isn't this the mid laner that didn't ban the Talon?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay, just
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. That is definitely the one.
Yeah, just curious.
The
Yeah, this is another team I'm really excited for. Uh, curious to see how they do. I think they're in Group A, so let's take a look at them quickly. Silver Scrapers. Yeah, I think I would predict this would be the team to come out on top for their group. I think this is probably one of the teams to beat this year. And then we also got Masuf and Dibble coming up from the D4 Cap League, so I'm curious to see how they perform this split.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what is it? 3 returning players. So real quick, it's their jungle, mid, and support. Their support is not supposed to be the what's it called? Let me swap this real quick. Puff Zone is not their support, it's Palace, who was their support from last split.
You sure?
So
Because I'm pretty sure I got pinged about that.
yeah, no, it's this is 3 out of 5 of the returning finalists that lost in finals. It's Joby, Nuffies, and Palace, and then joined by Dibble and Masuf. So I'm pretty sure if it's wrong, then you can return it back. But Puff Zone is a top lane main that
Sorry, it's
plays.
supposed to be I Beyond Godly as their support. It looks like actually.
Ah, okay,
So
okay, okay,
I
okay,
I messed that up.
okay. I'm pretty sure isn't Palace is probably the better support, but we'll see if that
Yeah, I
changes.
I think there's yeah.
You're good, you're good. Quickly fix that. Quick adjustment. But yeah, that's pretty much all the teams. Good luck to ID Frozen. I guess they name changed under the org, but I'm assuming they're gonna try to run it back and make the same deep run that they did last split. So let's take a look at the groups real quick. And Relics, I'll let you briefly give your opinion on teams.
I don't want to give too much because I'm
Yep, yep. You
probably
have
gonna have
content coming
something.
out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something up tomorrow, and I can't wait to get flamed for it. It's just a low Emerald player. Um, I think I don't know too much again, but I think like looking at Group B, I do agree. Like Rubber Ducky Gaming, Oversoul, DDG, True TMG, Sensei Squad, Akuma Blades, Galaxy. Like there's like to me like out of those 7 teams, like 6 of them could be making it. I think Galaxy's the one weaker team in their group, so they got a lot to prove. Um, and I think Group A is pretty much going to be run by Iridescent Dawn, and after that, I don't really know who's going to be the other teams making it out. And then Group C, I haven't even begun to look at them if I'm being honest. So curious to see who Spire's jungle will be as well. That's another thing that I think is going to matter. But yeah, content should be coming out tomorrow at some point because I'll work on it during work. Even though I should be working, but I won't be.
Sounds good, sounds good. And did you mention Group B and C? You don't want to reveal too much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, as you guys can see, these are the groups. Group A, real quick view of them. Group B, and the 8-team group with Group C. So, schedule-wise, just to note, as I said, you have Group A and B have one cross-group match, which does count for standings. So,
Yeah.
don't take those games lightly. And Group A is standard. So we'll explain more about playoffs once we get closer to there. But top 4 teams from each group make playoffs, and then we'll explain the seeding and the playoff situation. But yeah, that's pretty much all the Vanquisher teams. And I'm not gonna hold you guys too long, but looking forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. I'm sure Relics will be there. Is looking forward to it as well. We'll
Oh,
cook up some
100%.
we'll cook up some content as I said, we'll have 2 streams every week, thanks to TMG partnering with us to
Guys are
stream.
spoiled.
Yeah, to stream one of their teams every week on our secondary Titan Twitch. Mainstream will have, we'll see. I think Relics is going to be picking the matches, so based on what he thinks is a spicy matchup for week 1, he'll get his pick.
Exactly.
So yeah, any closing thoughts, Relics, before I close it out and jump to Immortal?
Not much other than ping me and not Sems on Tuesday.
Yes, please. Sounds good.
Yeah. See you guys Tuesday.
Looking forward to a spicy Vanquisher split. Good luck to all the teams. And we'll be taking a short break before we round it out with Immortal. Thanks, Relics, for joining us.
No problem.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here for the last league of the night, which is our Immortal League 600 LP cap. We have our league director for this split is Boogie. He's unavailable tonight, but he will be there every Thursday. So make sure you bother him with issues and not myself, because I will probably not be available Thursdays, but I'll be watching from the sidelines. So for Immortal League, we have 14 teams this time around. And we have a 7-week group stage with 8 teams making playoffs and a $1,470 prize pool. The one major difference from last split of Immortal to this split is that this time around we're doing Fearless Draft. So similar to if you watch what you've seen in NACL, Fearless Draft is where the any champions that are picked in previous games, so like game one, are banned for subsequent games for both teams. And for playoffs, if you get to game four, teams only have 3 bans instead of 5. And then for game 5, there are no bans at all, unless other than the champions that were already played for both teams. So fearless rules are in the rulebook, so you can check those out and make sure you're aware of them for when you're drafting for games. So as I mentioned, we have 14 teams. I'll go over to this. It's 2 groups of 7 with a single round robin, and similar to some of our other leagues, you're going to play every team in your group once, and then you also have a cross group match. So the team that gets drawn third in Group A will play the team that gets drawn third in Group B, and the following week, so on. A7 versus B7. So these will be updated with your respective team names, but those groups, it will be one for each week. And those group stage matches do count for standings as well, so don't take them lightly. Treat them same as your regular season group matches versus your teams within your own group. So with that being said, I'm gonna move on over to our handy dandy wheel, and we're gonna spin for the first team. And first team up is Mint Superior. Before I talk about Mint Superior, one sec. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, Lester, if you want to join me, you can actually just hop in a VC and I'll drag you. I could use some yapping. My voice is starting to give out. But if I see, you can ping me, DM me. I'm gonna talk about Mint real quick. So Mint Superior, where they at? Where they at? Let's see. I believe this is Mint's first time playing in our Immortal League, and they have Akira, who in the top lane, Vertigo in the jungle role, Babs in the mid lane, Bubster in the ADC role, and Chillwell Kills as support. I'm not really familiar with a lot of these players, but most of them have reached Masters, maybe high Masters. Chillwell Kills has been a really good support, moving on up to Immortal finally. So we'll see how he's able to do. And excited to see Mint Superior with their Superman logo. That's got to be copyright infringement, but yeah, they're here in our Immortal League. So they'll be going into Group A. And we're going to jump and spin for the next team. Next team is Dorado Gaming Gamma, which is a returning team from the previous split. And I believe they lost in the first round of playoffs after making it as the 4 seed, if I'm correct. But they were a really pretty solid team throughout the regular season, put on a strong performance, and I'd say from their own standards, they probably underperformed. But before Sorry, jumping the gun. They have Hazim in the top lane, Halls in the jungle role, Bounty Hunter in the mid lane, Kiona in the ADC role, and Scooter as support with Rocket being a sub. I believe this is 3/5 of the same roster with Hazim and Bounty Hunter and Kiona. So consistency is good. We'll see if their jungle and support will improve their roster and lead them to a better performance this time around in Immortal. So welcome back to Dorado Gaming Gamma. Next up, next up we have Akuma Omega Riddy's Ego. So this looks like a collaboration team between Akuma Esports and Omega Esports with Havoc in the top lane, Fortnite in the jungle role, which is Lonely, who has been playing here for the past 3 splits, and on the Omega teams, Mags in the mid lane, Duck Go Bark or Bark Go Duck in the ADC role, Severe as a support, and Riddy is one of their subs. So this is, as I said, a combined team between the two orgs. Um, some solid players on the teams. First Immortal split champion Lonely in the jungle role, so I expect them to be pretty strong depending on how serious they're taking the league. Um, so yeah, welcome back, and welcome back to and welcome to the combination of the org. Fire logo as usual. So let's spin for next team up, which is one of the two Rubber Ducky Gaming teams, and this one is Rubber Ducky Gaming Apex. So let's go on over to RDG Apex. They have Flame in the top lane, David in the jungle role, Nate Striker in the mid lane, Ravon in the ADC role, and Requiem as support or Skeptor, and Knight as their sub. These are a lot of people except David, who I believe is a young jungle prodigy. The rest of the players have all played up through the ranks, I believe. Like Nate Striker, for example, I've seen him in Titan from our Emerald League all the way to Diamond to now in the 600 LP Cap League. So super glad to see all these players moving up and taking the next level, next challenge in tougher competition and all consistently improving on their RDG as well. So welcome back to RDG and welcome to the Apex team. And let's spin for the next one, which is Untamed Sigma Lords of Destruction. So USLD. This roster has Grungles in the top lane, Sandy, their captain in the jungle role, Cruz, their mid laner, ADC is Lost Zero, and Tricky Z as support with ASAP Rat, Blithine, and Spork as subs. So not that familiar with a lot of these people. I think they're all pretty new to tie-in. I know Sandy has tried to play in Immortal a couple of times, but finally is making the shift over to the 600 LP Cap League. So I don't necessarily remember how they did in I believe they played in Risen, Mythical, and I did not follow that too much, but we'll see how they do here with their USLD roster. So USLD will be going to the third team in Group B, and I am going to bring in a special guest. Wait, I'm not even the VC. Okay. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, how are you? Welcome, Lester, to the group Drawstro for
I'm
Immortal.
glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. It's gonna be a
Glad
fun season.
glad to have you. Thanks for hopping in and joining me here. So real quick, do you want to give the people a quick introduction about yourself?
Right. Yeah, sure. Hello. I am the best coach Titan Immortal has ever seen. I'm the coach for Drop Dead Gaming, the winners of last year's Titan Immortal League, and that's about all.
Awesome. Yeah, the Drop Dead Gaming did win our last split, so congratulations to them. And Lesser was the coach, did a great job out drafting all the other teams and giving his team successful drafts to win, right? All they had to do was just press their keys and it was free.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, I guess since I'm kind of almost at the halfway point, not really 5 out of 14. I'll ask you real quick, any opinions on the first 5 teams that have been drawn, as you can see the groups?
Obviously, any team that's got Lone Ray on it could be good. I think that's the only other team that really is competition for us. Uh, Besides that, you got Dorado. Zol, he's kind of a fraud. Any of his teams, he can never beat us. So those are the only 2 teams I'm really looking at. Everyone else is kind of a bit of a random, but again, those 2 teams should be solid competition depending on which group we get in.
Okay, okay. Sounds good. Let's spin and see where if you guys will be drawn or what other teams will land on. And it looks like the next one up is a typo there, but it's True Minded Gaming, their 600 LP roster. Let's check out who they've brought here. So TMG has Nair in the top lane, Butter Chicken in the jungler role. It's So Loud I Hate Randoms in the mid lane, Petty, Jamie in the ADC role, and Stitch as support. I believe I Hate Randoms played on one of the teams, and Butter Chicken did too, but they didn't end up finishing the split. So that didn't go too well. Maybe they're coming back with vengeance and will play better this time around.
We can
Um,
hope so.
yeah, I agree. But TMG, they're solid org partnering with us for Vanquisher to stream their matches. Have 2 teams there. Have a team in Conqueror. So hopefully Cone can put this team in, give them the tools they need to succeed in 600 LP Cap League. And TMG will be going into Group B as the 3rd team.
Seen a few of their players. They won't be bad. Do know their top one is a pretty solid player, but
Okay, okay.
besides that,
Some newer people as well, so
yeah.
we'll see how they do. Let's spin for the next team. And next team is Rubber Ducky Gaming Nova, which they will go to Group A. Perfect. So no sister team issues there. So the Rubber Ducky Gaming Nova team is Toasted Toast in the top lane, Masho in the jungle role, Sophian in the mid lane, Duke in the ADC role, and Dracian as support with Carter as a sub. I believe Masho and Duke are both people that recently moved up from Diamond Leagues and they're making their debut, I'd say, in 600 LP cap master official full masters leagues, I'd say. So we'll see how they do. Duke was probably top 1 top 3 ADCs in our Diamond League, so he had a pretty high climb from Diamond to like mid high masters. So we'll see if he's able to transfer his talents over. Um, Lester, any thoughts on the RDG team here?
RDG, I think they've got another team in BOL that I think they're not doing too well over there. We did play them week 1. They weren't a bad team, not at all. They're very fast around the map, but they're prone to mistakes. I will say
Nice.
their mid laner, Sophian,
Yeah,
was a very good player.
nice. We'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye on their mid laner for the split, that's for sure. See how he competes with some of the competition here as well. So next team up, let's see what the wheel gives us. Well, look who it is. It's Drop Dead Gaming.
The winners, I see.
Yes, and with this roster, let's see what you guys have cooked up. It is Vision of Empire in top lane, Evil Lobster in the jungle role, jungle role, Troy mid lane, Brainy Fan ADC, Jordan Bot support, and Sourcewalker as a sub, with obviously Lesser as their coach, who is our guest here. And it looks like you guys are bringing back pretty much the exact same roster with a different mid laner.
Yeah, the plan. Never saw was phenomenal and I love her to death, but we wanted to swap out the mid, bring back the kind of the exact same roster, and just do a repeat of what happened in summer.
Yeah, any thoughts on how this play is gonna go?
Again, I don't think there's too much competition in here.
Okay,
I
okay.
was speaking to someone earlier. I think we'll go undefeated throughout the entire season. Maybe drop a game or two if we're having too much fun, but I think we should be the favorites overwhelmingly.
Okay, got it, got it. We'll see if that ends up to be true throughout the split. Let's go on over to the next team, which will be Dropping Point Black Frost. Dropping Point is just making their debut in Titan with Sheesh Riven in the top lane, Pride in the jungle role, FYS in the mid lane, YBG Coda in the ADC role, and then Panda as a support. I'm not very familiar with a lot of these players, but I believe a couple of them, well, no, never mind. Yeah, they were one of the last few teams to make it into the league as well. So looking for some competition at the Masters level. Lesser, have you played against any of them or seen them around?
Um, no, I don't believe we have. An
Yeah.
Emerald 2 mid laner never really bodes well, but you know what? It's nice to have them here, and I hope they have fun. Are they in our group? I don't believe so, right?
They're in Group A.
All right,
So
then
they
you
are
have been saved from facing us this split. I do appreciate you guys joining.
awesome, awesome. Let's spin for the next team. Next team up is Maelstrom Esports. This is a
Ooh.
recently new org that has been participating in NACL Open qualifiers. So I believe they might also be in ACL as well, which is a challenger league. But for their Masters team here, they have Dink Memester in the top lane, Joker in the jungle role, Castek in the mid lane, Knight as ADC, and Fallen Asleep as supports. And just for emergency cases, they put their Platinum 2 team contact manager as a sub as well. Lesser, any thoughts on the Maelstrom team?
I'm actually a big fan of this organization. And the players on it. Their ADC Knight Ventura, one of the more preferred ADCs that I've seen play.
Okay.
Said he couldn't play for me, but he's a pretty solid player. And then so same thing with their support. So Fallen Asleep's very good. So this should be a very strong bot lane in Titan.
Awesome. So you would have replaced your ADC with Knight?
Oh, absolutely not. Brady fan is the goat himself, but Knight will be a very good second option.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, glad to see Maelstrom making their way into Titan. Um, excited to see how they're able to perform in Immortal. Let's spin for the next team, which is Infinity Edge Gaming. This is a recently, I believe, group of friends that they've just been playing together for a while. And they're moving up from attempting to play in a Diamond League because a couple of their players are too good. So this is Wilson in the top lane, Biggie in the jungle role, Adorezo in the mid lane, Jason Woods in the ADC role, and Zumi as support with Viacong support as a sub as well. Uh, as I mentioned, some of them are punching up a little bit, but there are also a lot of other players in the league that are in that high diamond level as well. So, Lester, any thoughts on Infinity Edge Gaming?
Um,
Not a
I
fan,
I
really.
I've seen Viet Cong support. He was not the most phenomenal, and if he is their support, I don't have high hopes for these guys. So
He's just their
I
sub.
do wish them both the best,
Yeah,
but
of
Group A
course,
kind of
of
where they should
course,
be.
of course, of course. We wish all the teams the best, as long as they're having a good time,
Yeah, that's all
right?
that
So
matters. Have fun.
we'll spin for the next team, which is Boomers over Zoomers. and they are going into Group B. Let's check out what roster they brought here. Oh, nice logo, nice logo. I like that. They have Rexalis in the top lane, the Kaz in the jungle role, Nux in the mid lane, Gritty as ADC, and John Marquez as support with Over8 as a sub. I believe you might have played versus this team or seen them in BOL because I think when I took a sneak peek, they were over there as well.
Yeah, they're currently 2-1 in BOL, so they're not doing terrible over there.
Okay, they have a full Masters team, so
Yeah,
I
they don't look
expect them
bad.
to do pretty solid. I'm not. I know the Kaz was a sub and played in Immortal as well. Um, so he should be solid and try to have a better performance. We're trying to make playoffs because I think they just barely missed out with the team that he was on. Um, so hopefully they make playoffs this time around, or come out and be competitive every week. But welcome to Boomers over Zoomers. Maybe some Zoomers will take offense to that in this league and show them who's better. Oh, did I not remove them?
They get to pick twice.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, now that I've clicked the actual remove thing, we'll ignore Boomers over Zoomers, and the next team up will be Big Red Tibbers. And Big Red Tibbers, let's see. I believe this is... Okay, it's Taziki in the top lane, ASAP Aki in the jungle role, RU Sirius in the mid lane, Mr. Chubby Num Num, Kenny in the ADC role, and Maelstrom is support. So I believe all these players are new here.
None of them look
Lesser,
familiar at all.
no, they do not. But I believe, let me see.
Looks like Maelstrom's on the wrong team over here.
They're the collegiate team for Cornell University, so
Ooh,
it's pretty cool to see them participating here.
that's
Probably
interesting.
more not as not under their actual university participating, but more so um probably some similar or exact same roster. So glad to see them branching out and participating in amateur league, which they'll probably have to end up playing in anyway after graduation. So welcome to Big Red Tibbers and good luck in against some of the other teams in Group A. So the final and last spin will be Horizon Gaming Rats, and this is actually one of the last teams that was able to join the league as well. Right at the buzzer. So Horizon Gaming Rats, I believe they participated a couple of splits ago. They have Puff Zone in the top lane, Ulvarik in the jungle, Philly B mid lane, Flan as ADC, and the Cool Crab as support. Pretty sure this is their same top jungle mid players that played in our winter split earlier this year, which I believe they just missed out on playoffs. So they're returning with a new bot lane this time around. Lesser familiar with these guys.
Uh, you have to know Puff Zone. That guy's hilarious. You see him everywhere. His content's phenomenal. He did go 0-7 back in winter of 2023, I believe, for AML. But good for him.
Yeah, he makes some great clips, some great content that we've seen in Titan as well. So shout out to Puff and welcome back to the Rats themselves. They'll be the last team drawn and the last team in Group B. So with all the teams drawn now, real quick, let's take a look at the groups. So lesser similar to what I did previously for all the other guests, I'll ask you your opinions for Group A and then we'll go to Group B. For Group A, thoughts on, top four making playoffs, favorites to win the group, team most likely to go 0-7.
Obviously, favorites for the group has to be Akuma. I don't think if you say anyone else, I don't think you're speaking justice to them. A few people in here could contest them. I don't think Mint's gonna just roll over, but again, Akuma's just kind of gonna run through this group. And then, as much as I hate to say it, this dropping point Black Frost team, I don't think they'll be able to. They
Okay.
may win a game, but I don't expect too
Okay.
many great things. but the group is pretty Mickey Mouse, so they do have some chances.
For sure, for sure. We'll see how that goes for other teams. Basically, you're seeing Akuma and maybe Mint top two, and then everything else is kind of a free for all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, okay. Let's switch on over to Group B. Same thing. Thoughts?
Uh, there should be no surprises. I think there's a clear favorite for this group. The DDG should. They may accidentally drop a game if their coach has a little too much fun with draft one of these times, but besides that, maybe not too much happened. I think Dorado is gonna finish second, but after that, maybe Maelstrom and Boomers, and everyone else is gonna kind of stick towards the bottom.
Gotcha. I think there's some pretty solid takes, you know. The groups are probably pretty even with, you know, top two, three looking pretty obvious, but we'll see how things shake out. You never know. You might have the tougher group of the two, but
Yeah, I do think Group B is a little harder because we got Dorado, Maelstrom, Boomers. We've got a few names, then the other team's got Rubber Ducky Gaming. So
yeah, we'll see how things shake out and if people are able to, you know, prove you wrong and not let you guys go undefeated and win the chip again.
absolutely, I'd love to see him try. That's always the goal, to make it a challenge so we don't just get free money.
Yes, sir. So with that being said, I believe schedule is out and being updated essentially. So you guys should be able to see who you're playing for week one, which is this Thursday at 8 o'clock. Reminder, it's Fearless Draft. So check out the rulebook for those and make sure you follow the rules. Top 4 out of 7 make playoffs. And yeah, we'll have a lot more spicier content and everything. This one was kind of late, and the draw show went really really late. So we have a content writer for you guys this split where we didn't have previously. So hopefully he's able to cook up some fun stuff. Um, and you should be expecting something before week one matches. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Before I end the stream and close out the draw show, Lester, any final thoughts on Immortal?
Oh no, it should be a fun series. I appreciate you having me on. Let me talk a little bit of trash, and we look forward to playing.
Of course, appreciate you joining me and helping out, and good luck in the season.
Thank
And
you very
yeah,
much.
I'll catch you later. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Looking forward to having a wonderful split. I think we continue having some pretty solid leagues, a lot of teams participating, a lot of interest. So we're going to try to continue improving things, putting out content, making things entertaining. Hopefully everybody has a fun time in fall as well as we close out the end of the year. So thanks everybody for bearing with me through the 4 hour show essentially, and appreciate you everybody for your support. So good luck in all your matches this week, and good luck in the fall split.